Late Night Grin. Also, what does that name mean?
We're back, folks. Happy Friday, happy Grin Day. It's a monumental occasion. Something really big is happening in wrestling tonight. Something people have been waiting for months and months, speculating when will it happen. And finally tonight, the Late Night Grin will talk about professional wrestling on the flagship program. Buster and I did some research earlier. We concluded this is the first time we've done this as a show in, I believe we settled on like 61 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So we've really been, slow build on this one, putting together plans. But tonight we're going to do it. We have 8 matches to talk about. And we're just going to talk about wrestling. I want to be clear in saying that if you've not seen these matches that are listed below in the description, don't worry. This is going to be very sweeping and broad in the conversation. It's going to be a chance to talk about different promotions, different wrestlers that we don't usually discuss. So that is the plan tonight. Expert panel as always, the beloved Young Guns United. Buster, how are you this evening, brother?
I'm all right. Had an annoying night, but I won't go into that. I'm excited to talk about some professional wrestling with my friends.
True. It's the name of the game around here, brother. Absolutely. I love it. Novi, how are you feeling, boss?
Today, I've had a very up and down day. My momentum keeps shifting in positive and negative directions. But it has been defined by both Deftones Discovery, which has been very fun, and professional wrestling. So what's better, at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I can name a couple of things better than the Deftones, but I won't. We can just move on.
Whatever works. Hello, Kaden Lee.
Hi, Joe.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. Yesterday, fellas, I'm in a great mood. Yesterday, I decided impulsively.
Yell by the incredible smile on your face that hasn't resisted once.
Yeah.
Yesterday I impulsively went to the grand opening of Universal Epic Universe and had potentially my best day of all time at a theme park. So hey, let me enjoy my things.
No, your mic lagged.
We're no selling these mic lags.
Yeah.
Is it lagging again?
Yeah.
It's not
It's been doing it. Yeah, it hasn't stopped.
The lag is back.
Jesus. Well, we persevere.
Bro. Don't worry about it.
I had a great day, and then the LNG payday hit as I'm on my way home, and oh boy, it made my day so much better.
Did you hear the news, Kaden? I toppled Novi.
I heard.
Yeah, get fucked.
I'm waiting to hear if I'm trying to find out if I toppled Novi.
No.
I didn't. Okay.
Don't get carried away, kid. All right, take it easy.
I'm still at the bottom.
Know your role.
I mean, you're like third in the overall undercards there. Obviously, I'm the top guy, and then you guys are all on the undercard. I think you're third in that regard. In all seriousness, it has been an eventful night on SmackDown. A lot of big things happened. They gave Alexa Bliss a live microphone. Fraxium got a new theme song. I think that's very not. I'm just messing around. Fahadson's a super chat. He says, Uncle Howard. I'm very, very happy for the White Six to get reset, and restarted in the ball game. They got a great reaction, which is really cool. Of course, today, I think Bray would have been, 38 today.
Wow.
Man.
Which somehow makes his passing even sadder.
Yeah.
So it was cool that they got to do that, on his birthday. And I'm really happy for, obviously, all of them, but especially for Bo. Like, I was really worried about them just never getting a chance to continue where they were. And I think it would have been terribly unfair because the crowd loves them. The crowd loved Bray, right, and loves Bray, so that's a big part of it. But I also think people like the idea of the act. So we shall see how it looks in action. Seems like they're going to be used kind of as part of this tag division, maybe, which I think will divide people. But people love them, dude, right? People, they want to see White 6, so.
Yeah, I mean, we saw those like personal segments to kick off the birth of the faction. I think that connected with a lot of people, so it's not surprising.
Yeah. And I think in an ideal world, you get them to a point where they're strong on their own, and Alexa's doing great, right? And eventually you can then get to that rather than it feeling like the 6 or like this thing that you're attaching to Alexa, right? I think ideally it's easily, let's be honest, you can easily do it because they already got great reaction tonight. So all you need to do is just keep them in the game. They're going to have their own thing. Alexa's going to have her thing, and eventually you can kind of put those together, and that could be a big moment, I think, in itself. So, yeah, something to look forward to, and I am glad, all jokes aside and such with my stupid bit. Thanks to the super chat for Hard, and it seemed like I got a great reaction. So,
Joe, your mic is
you went underwater for a moment.
Doing backflips.
Am I here?
You
There
are.
you go.
Getting very scary. All right. Was it there the whole time I was talking about the White 6?
No. It stopped or it started literally right after you finished.
It could have been White 6 interference if so. So I'm glad it worked out. Did anyone see any TNA Under Siege?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
I
to
saw
say.
the Danny Luna clip, and that's about it.
Seems like a bad
The
clip.
Danny Luna clip.
Hey, what happened to Danny?
Danny was on the top rope. There was a table set up outside, and they tried to push her off, and she almost smacked the back of her head into the edge of the table. And they clipped this up like it was a big moment, because they just, after she nearly dies, she then goes back up top, and they push her off, and she breaks the table. They showed the whole thing.
Well, I mean, that's what you do when you're a badass wrestling promotion, bro. Go back to DPW, What do you want?
So fucking true.
Right, Buster? Do you hear this kid?
Go back to the fucking UK, dumbass.
Let me guess, bro. DPW, they'd probably cut it out, right? Before they posted it 3 weeks later. This is live, bro. We're doing our thing. The big leagues. No, I haven't seen it. They did an impromptu system 6-man tag. They also, and I'm not trying to be a prick because I don't know who this guy was. I don't know who this guy was, but someone came out when Mustafa Ali was out there and got legitimately one of the craziest reactions I have ever heard on a wrestling show. And I don't know who the gentleman was, so I apologize, but there was a mystery partner situation because I guess Ace Austin's left, I guess. So there was a mystery man going to be opposite Ali's faction. And this fella walked out who I guess has history of Ali, and he's just doing a promo. And the people they had no clue who he was. I didn't know who he was. And he was talking, and it was so bad that he actually went, Brampton, you gotta let me cook. You gotta let me cook. And they that obviously made them less keen on letting him cook. And eventually he revealed he was from Brampton, and they sort of went, oh. It was quite unbelievable. I honestly recommend you find it because it was like uncomfortable to watch. It was an impressive piece of business.
Very sad.
Yeah. It was wild, but I didn't see the Trick Williams match. I did see that 6-man tag, and I saw some Mike Santana too, who is in great form. It's a big weekend, boys, before we get into our matches here. By the way, again, thanks to Fahad. And we also have this from Robbo. I'm going to circle back to my point there. Robbo says, evening, lads. Just wanted to say how much I enjoyed this concept. Doing the homework was a blast, and it continued my ascent on my list of faves. Well, that's awesome, right? That's the beautiful thing about this. You can not watch any of the matches and come and see if we recommend any. Some we're going to have different takes on, right? I think Buster's already told us he may have different opinions to some of us. I know I have a different opinion on one of the matches to the boys. But for those of you that watch all of them, it's like a different show entirely. So, that's the plan. I said this on the behind the paywall earlier to Buster, but like my thing is I want people to look at the channel and see a bunch of different wrestling represented. I really hate the increasing trend of like big two or nothing, big two or bust.
Yeah.
And as someone that spent the first 3 months of the year constantly talking about how just doomed everything else was, I think the least I could do is try and help that by like shining a light on some stuff. Even if it isn't really to my taste, I just think it's worth talking about. It's wrestling, isn't it?
Especially like the indie stuff that not everyone gets a chance to look at. Like DPW is paywalled, I understand, but we're like,
Right.
if there's a good match, at least we can say, hey, this is good if you
Mhm.
want to check this out. Seek it, you know?
Dude, it's like, let's be honest, that everything's so accessible now.
Yeah.
And I'm really tired of people doing what I was doing and like just complaining about stuff and then only engaging with that stuff. It's just absolutely exhausting. It's a real issue, I think, in the space. That's the one I'm going to do with those. I won't do it for the rest of the night. But like, just I hate this so much. I wish this would change, and then just not doing anything to assist that change. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to change that about myself. So this show's part of that.
It's smart because we like the space, our space, did get a little like you know, it's just in a rough spot with wrestling, and I think we're just trying to have more fun with it and find new avenues to explore. You know, we're gonna watch that Dean show whenever it releases on ROH. You know, stuff like that. It's quirky.
It's just about being open-minded, right? Like there's cool stuff that can happen anywhere. I'm not here to tell you like it's all good. That is not what this show is going to be. Like this is not going to be us just talking about how every match is great. I'm not sure I would use the word great for many of any of these, to be actually completely honest. I have issues with all of them. I like a lot of them. But it's more about engaging with it, you know. I think that's the important piece. That's what we're trying to do here. I'm glad you got to watch these matches, Robbo, and you had fun with that kind of homework, as you put it. Again, if you didn't, perfectly fine. This will not be us going play by play and talking about, you know, and then Kushida hit a clothesline, and like we're gonna be talking broadly about how guys looked and what's the conversation. So that is our plan this evening. Before we get into it. I did mention big weekend for wrestling. Obviously, Double or Nothing Sunday. And, you know, we used to do pay-per-view previews on the Friday show. This week, you guys did that on Wednesday, right? After Dynamite. Had a hell of a time.
Sure did.
And we got a Grin on Sunday, which is going to be crazy. It's got us four, Chuck, Marcus, and Oracle, I think is the
crazy lineup.
Yeah, the Magnificent Seven, right? So it's that should be fun on Sunday. And one thing I wanted to ask you all, because I didn't get to be on the show, I wasn't let on. What's the one match that, like, if it was announced as being cancelled now would hurt your feelings most? Like the one that for me, it's easy. It's the FTR match, like easily the FTR match. I would no show if it got cancelled.
It's either that one or it's Ricochet and Briscoe for me.
Yeah, they're the two matches I'm most looking forward to.
Me too.
I was gonna go with Ricochet and Briscoe. That's just like obviously your mind immediately goes to like the main event, but that one in particular, it's like I need that kind of stuff on my wrestling show. You know, a lot of people.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I've unfortunately gotten myself really locked in on Anarchy in the Arena this year after the last 3 weeks. So I'd be kind of.
I think it's going to be like a fucking awesome match.
I think so as well.
Yeah, I think it has some things going for it. Like I think it not being the main event is going to help it.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to have to go like as far. It has Samoa Joe. It has Willow Nightingale. And I have to be honest, and this is a dangerous game to play. I think Eddie Kingston's showing up.
I think Eddie's showing up.
The interview he gave was like, it's interesting timing. You know what I mean?
The only reason the Gabe Kidd thing is like full bat signal for Eddie.
Yeah.
Because he's the one guy that Eddie's the one babyface that the Gabe thing is attached to. And it's Anarchy, so it's full circle. I think Eddie's coming back, and that will be a moment. Let me tell you,
we're gonna pop so huge.
Oh, dude,
I think that's the song. I think Cold World's gonna be the song.
See, I think it will be at the finish. I think Gabe Kidd's gonna run in at the finish, and then Eddie Kingston's gonna. SP3 said it earlier on the True Heat show. He's gonna come out like he did in the first Anarchy, bro, with the
gas.
The gas. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like the music hits and that's how he walks out. Oh my god, dude.
It's gonna be
so unbelievable.
Sick,
yeah.
Plus, like the report that dropped today, that like the last time Dave heard anything, it was May for Eddie's return,
which was very, very Dave.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, the money bit is like Mox's reaction to this is going to be incredible, right? Like all that's happened since Eddie's been gone. This whole Moxley arc has happened while Eddie's just been at home.
It's crazy. I've been so like, there's one thing about this Mox reign I've been desperate to see. It's him and Eddie face off. It's one thing that I desperately need. Come on, Sunday. Let's do it.
I need it, bro. I need it. I'm excited for the show. I'm looking forward to it. And Oracle's really excited too. It should be a hell of a time. This should be a hell of a time. If you're confident of that, there is a wonderful button for you to click. Novi is going to clue you in on that now. Go for it.
Looks a little something like this with the up, and you're going to want to smash it.
Yeah. Now, I think Novi does a hell of a job with that deal. But we have noticed a drop off from the Bob to Novi transfer, because Novi's on more shows than Bob. So I guess what we were asking is communicate with us, guys. Do you want like a pre-taped Bob? Like, should there be a Bob that we just click?
Joe. Come on.
Well, it's not. I'm not looking at you. I think.
No need, all right?
Your connection with the audience. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
But Bob's been here for 5 years.
Come on, man.
That was Bruce telling Zelina why her reaction wasn't as good as Alexa's. She's been here for a long time.
Yeah.
She's been here for a long time. Kaden, can you try the thumbs up? Give me.
So what you're going to do, fellas, if you like the video, if you enjoy what we're doing, you're going to smash the like button.
Yeah. Fellas was aggressive. Like it was Barstool or something.
Yeah.
There was lag involved. It was terrible. Just be honest.
Am I still lagging? Fuck.
Yeah. You bless your heart. Look at this, bro.
Good shit.
Right. In all seriousness, it helps us. Let's dive in. I've ordered these matches in a particular way that I feel is right and fair. So this is not in order of date. Look at Walt. They just disliked the video. All right. I put these in a particular order. We're going to go that way. We're going to start with the biggest and the best. We're starting with our friends at Total Nonstop Action. That is the thumbnail. And it's also a match that we've been like threatening the audience with for about 3 weeks. So we're going to do something with Eric Young and Steve Maclin. This match got a ton of buzz, relative, coming out of the tapings because it was the taping where they banned blading and it was almost framed in the media as like a last stand. They've since kind of walked that back. I don't know what the truth is, nor do I really care at this point. Steve Maclin famously is probably a bit strong, but the PCO match was a significant TNA match of this last, 5-10 years, whatever you want to say. And in that one, Maclin bled at an alarming amount. So it was pretty easy to imagine how this would look. It was, of course, Eric Young, Steve Maclin with the dog collar as their stipulation. This was taped on May 1st in California. It aired on the 8th, Irvine, California, correct? I think so. And the setup for this, Eric Young, he kind of took Josh Alexander's Northern Armory faction from him. He wanted Steve Maclin to join. Maclin opted against that. These two were a babyface pair, and Eric Young I think he's like a heel, but they kind of, I don't know, they're kind of a little bit loose with that in my experience. I don't watch super closely, folks. If you're super locked in on TNA TV, tell me if I'm wrong. Matt Cardona is on commentary, which brings with it a whole adventure in itself. And here we go, dog collar. Lots of blood. I think there's some mixed reviews for this, certainly. A lot of great imagery. And the question is, does the match match that imagery? I guess is the question. Buster, I'm going to start with you on this. I'm intrigued. Dog collar. EY, Steve Maclin. What did you think?
So, the blood is fantastic. Oh, no. Caden's gone. Yeah, the blood is fantastic. I was very happy to see them just kind of get straight to it,
Mm-hmm.
It was like the first 2 minutes, Maclin started bleeding. You could actively see where he gave it to. It was awesome.
It was gross. It was sick.
Yeah. They made sure to milk every second of the blood they possibly could. Every second, or either drop a value out of it, because they just the first 5 to 7 minutes, they're just kind of walking around. And Maclin's going, look at it. It kind of turns around when Maclin gets in control, but first, the spot where Eric Young pulls Maclin into the ropes, he hits it. Oh,
that's good stuff.
Sick, fucking awesome. Yeah, as far as the actual action, the match doesn't match the imagery in my opinion. It's just a little lackluster. I mean, that's also just the lads are Well, Maclin's he's never been that big of like a
Right.
He's never been that great of a wrestler, to be totally frank. And Eric Young is very old. So, but they do take some fucking crazy bumps on the floor. Specifically, Maclin, he takes one off the apron, I think, directly to the floor. Sick. I think the finish is an homage to Piper and Valentine. Am I wrong? Because like he pulls him off, but then he hits him with his finish.
Oh yeah.
But the finish for Piper and Valentine,
definitely.
Yes.
They did the
they
thing
pull
where
apart.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, overall thoughts. Blood is awesome. I can't tell if Eli actually bled or not, which I think is cooler.
Yeah.
Because he was still covered in so much blood.
Yeah.
It looked like he bled, but I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Great bloodbath. Decent match is my overall opinion, I guess.
Yeah. I like Steve Maclin a lot. I think Eric Young, inevitably, there's some dip, right? He's getting up there. He's still a very good wrestler. I don't know. I think there's some circumstantial elements that hurt this, is my feeling. Kaden, what did you make of the dog collar match?
How's my audio doing now?
Just immediate lag.
Still,
Just go for it, bro. It's only like a second.
Alright,
Just talk.
All right, I have an idea. I'll put in the chat after this. I agree with a lot of Buster's sentiments here. I thought it was more exciting to like look at the blood than anything they actually did in the match. It was very like what they did. The way they laid the match out was very simple. I thought it was still like effective, and I had a good time watching because of how much Maclin was pouring blood. But I also feel like if that wasn't the case, then I would not have like my rating would have significantly dropped on what they did. Which I can't blame them for doing the right thing with the blood. Novi, stop smiling.
Joe did it. I couldn't help it.
I didn't do nothing. Keep going.
Yeah, it was fine. Like, it was a nice little match. It wasn't my least favorite match that we watched, so
I praise.
Take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised where everyone's at on this, and I don't really disagree. Novi, you gonna zig where we zag, brother?
No.
Oh, shame. All right, fair enough.
Just I like the blood a lot. It's defined by the blood. They focus on it the entire time. Bus said it. Eric Young does take some sick bumps, but he's very old. He's just walking a lot. Just shout out to the blood. I also think that Andrew brings it up in the chat. The TNA like taping presentation was not the right place for this. Just did not match what we actually were seeing. Just the vibes of the crowd and stuff like that. But sometimes you just want to watch a guy bleed a lot.
Yeah. I guess among this crew, I'm the TNA viewer. I'll wear that badge of honor or shame, depending on who you ask, or whatever you want to do. I see a lot of the TNA TV. I'm going to just send this to Kaden because that was a purposeful departure from Kaden. He didn't get kicked out. I have to be honest. I think they got some very bad luck here. I really do. This was a really tough atmosphere, wasn't it?
The crowd was pretty bad.
Yeah. I think, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that in other settings they'd have them like rocking like they were for Piper and Valentine, but like, man, this was it felt like it was really late and people were really tired, to be honest. It was very dreary. Didn't look like a great house either.
There's some empty seats on the hard cam.
Which I think this may have been the same day they taped that Jeff Hardy Nick Nemeth match, which makes me wonder if people left after that match.
It seems like one of those, like, when Collision main events come around and the crowd's just like, they're into it, but they're not because it's just been a while. It just feels like that.
Yeah. I like the match overall because the blood is awesome. I like both guys. It does feel, as Andrew said, of like, it feels like a match that, if packaged differently, could have packed much more of a punch.
Yeah.
I'm torn between admiring how restrained they were in terms of like spots and thinking it could have done with a little bit more juice.
Yeah.
I kind of respect that he just run the razor and they just kind of walked around and he punched the wound a lot. Like, there's a part of me that's kind of going, good on him, But I also think, I don't know, man. I think EY's time in control could have been juiced up a little bit. You
Mhm.
know, juiced is probably the wrong word for this match, but you know what I'm saying, right? A little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of back and forth. It was an extended EY control segment, and the people were it was a very tame "Let's Go Maclin" as their response.
Yeah.
There were some cool visuals, as we mentioned. There's that deal where he like puts the chain in Maclin's mouth, and
That was good.
yeah, that was sweet. And Maclin's comeback was good. I think with this vibe, if you could run it back, like with this atmosphere and this vibe, they probably needed more urgency, to be honest with you.
Push a bit more pace.
Yeah, I think if the build and the crowd was more, was more severe, I think they could have got away with this and it actually would have like really impacted people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the way it worked out. The Armory fellas take some wild bumps on Mac, when Maclin's
They do, yeah.
Credit to them, dude. Every time they come in, they're taking a fucking power bomb. It's awesome.
Right. And the biggest thing beyond the blood that I would put over at the match is I do appreciate how like blunt and direct it was with just Steve Maclin is our babyface and he kicks ass. Like he came out of this looking like an absolute beast, didn't he? Like action movie star, and he's pumping his chest. It's like it was cool. So I liked the match. I wish I liked it more. And I think there's probably a lot of it feels like we all followed suit with Buster's immediate response of, the blood was great. It was a decent match. I think that's probably it. But I think it's worth a look. It's not long, right? How long will it 10, 12 minutes? I mean, that range.
I think 11:30. I think it was.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah. So you can have a look at this. It's free on YouTube. I think it's worth looking at just for the blood alone, to be honest. Like, we have to stress, Buster said it, like, EY's whole chest and head is red, and we don't even know if he bled in the match. Like, it's just.
There's a moment where he, like, his skin is so red because that's just what EY is it when he's wrestling.
Yeah.
So it just looks like you can't tell if it's blood or just it's like really hot, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and at one point he wipes his eye, and I'm not so sure that was his blood. I think that was Maclin's. Like he's crazy.
It was wild. It kind of like a horror scene.
A little bit. He had him in a headlock at one point, and Maclin's blood just pours down his chest.
Kaden?
Fellas, I did so much. Please tell me it worked.
It seems to be working.
Yes.
Oh my god, he lagged immediately. Oh, bless his heart. Honestly, Kaden,
your camera lagged, but your audio didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, the audio doesn't lag. I don't care.
Just don't sell when we pop, because we're gonna pop because we think it's funny. But just don't worry. Honestly, it's like a second lag.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. All right, we're gonna take a big shift in vibe here, which is kind of the idea of this show, because we're now jumping from our beloved Total Nonstop Action to Arena Mexico for a show that was really a fascinating affair, it must be said. This CMLL MLW show. This was from May 2nd. We are covering the main event, Kushida and Mistico. Before we get into that, did you guys catch any of the rest of this show? Because this was a weird wrestling show, man. Great crowd.
No.
Okay, so I saw the Paul London Neon match.
Right, that was on the show, yeah.
Worth a look, boys.
Yeah.
10 minutes. Paul London does his whole like deluded old man shtick, but also does some crazy shit bell to bell. So it's worth looking at. But again, we're talking Kushida and Mistico. Buster.
Yeah.
How would you, if someone, said, okay, I want to get in CMLL, explain Mistico to me. How would you describe Mistico's role in 2025 and more, and then beyond that, the kind of reputation among hardcore fans that he has at this point in the game?
So he's kind of got like, in terms of mystique and stature in the company, he's kind of got like a 2013 Undertaker vibe where he just comes in and he's like God and everyone's like popping for him and they all love him. However, in the ring, he's still like fucking incredible. Yeah, it's very like, if you watch CMLL, you know what you're going to get from Mistico at this point. And that's kind of where my, I'm not as big a fan as most people, but he's always delivering like steady. Sometimes he'll like have incredible matches, but he'll deliver these like just steady, very comfortable matches in the main event of every fucking Arena Mexico show. He rules. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's not. I don't want to be dismissive here. Correct me if I'm wrong. At this point in the game, at this point in his career, he's not someone who is sort of you'd put in the best in the world as a mechanically as a wrestler.
Yeah, I know.
He certainly is a major attraction and has
Yeah.
been a really cool story, right? Like he's kind of reemergence in that department.
Mhm.
He kind of has his thing he does.
Yeah, and Andrew says it there. He works like an incredible amount of matches.
Mm-hmm.
So him having his thing makes sense. Like,
yeah, because he can
that's
plug
the,
people in.
that's that's like the only way he can do the amount of matches that he's doing. You know,
right. I'm going to stick with you here, Buster, because I'm intrigued what you think. I think you might have extreme opinions, and so I honestly don't know. Kushida, by contrast, you could probably have some fun with this comparison in the sense that Kushida feels like a guy who, perception-wise, has fallen a little bit to me. I'm a big Kushida fan. In the mid-2010s, he was actually among my favorite wrestlers. My brother, too. My brother loved Kushida so much that when he didn't get a photo of him at Rev Pro, he was devastated and talked about it for the next year. Why didn't I meet Kushida? So I love Kushida. It feels like he's like stature in the game has dropped some. Is that a fair assessment, Brainbuster?
yes, I think it's a very fair assessment, especially because how his Fed run ended, and then he made the big return to Japan, and nothing really amounted from that. You know,
Yeah,
he never really got the opportunity to do much out of that, to be honest. But he still works like he's still awesome. He fucking rules.
Yeah,
and I mean, I guess I don't want to mess up your format, but to transition to the match,
you go for
he's like fucking sick here.
Yeah,
he's forced to work heel, and it takes him a second to adapt, but eventually he gets into a groove, and he finds Mistico's arm, and he fucking attacks. He's like very aggressive towards it, way more aggressive than usual. He works on like getting Mistico on the ground for a lot of the match and trying to break him down and not keep him away from what Mistico does. Ultimately, Mistico kind of goes, "Fuck you. I'm just gonna hit you with a La Mystica and fuck you up." But this is just very comfortable. I was like,
yeah.
I was going into this. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. And to be fair, the match isn't like, an all-time classic.
Right.
It's just fun. It's like in front of a crowd that's like, it feels like a party every single time. They pan to the crowd and people are literally like just jumping around and doing shit. Like, it's so sick. Arena Mexico is like, even if the stuff in the ring isn't, unbelievable, like in this match, it's a good time. It's always fun to watch it.
The vibes are definitely good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaden, you've often said that your favorite thing about MLW shows is the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like this match?
I had a good time with this match. I enjoyed it. Out of the big one for me here was I usually, anytime I watch wrestling that is non-American, I usually will put on just English commentary because it's just easier for me. But because of the way I watched it, I think CMLL in general, it's really hard to get English commentary or impossible.
Right.
I don't think there is.
So yeah, I don't think I was like that. I didn't think there was. So listening to it from that perspective, like it just made it more exciting and gave me a different viewing experience than I normally get, which I mean happens every time I watch CMLL, but I don't watch it that often. Then the crowd being incredible, just like it made it a nice little watch. It was also the last match that I watched out of them. So it was just like a nice little one to throw on that it felt comforting.
Yeah, that's a good description for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a nice wrestling match between two solid workers. Nothing like insane that they did, and then nothing like overtly bad that they did. It all kind of just like flowed together very nicely and led to just a nice wrestling match to watch on my Friday.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was very chill on it. Very, very chill. I think this was not a match that was intent on like making your year-end list. I don't think that was what their vibe was here. But it was a nice match between two guys who know their game. And I think one of those guys, a little novelty came along with that, which Buster got into. Novi, did you like this match? Seems like we're on a similar page again here. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely am. It did take me a second to get into it. but it's hard at the end of the day not to get swept up in the Arena Mexico vibes. Just like Buster said, the crowd's into it. Why'd you ask him?
Yeah.
It's hard not to get swept up in Arena Mexico. Kushida was popping me so huge, working the elbow, both of them, in fact, which was pretty beast. And my big thing on Mistico, I'm with Brainbuster. He's never been like a real favorite of mine. I enjoy his work, but nowadays I think he works like someone who is very over. And I think most people would understand what that means, which isn't a bad thing because he's very over. And the people really love him, and his comebacks are really sick because of it. Sometimes, he rolls through the bumps and take you out of it for a second, but he gets you by the end.
Yeah, so I've watched Mistico wrestle more in this run than probably anyone else in CMLL because the story pops me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I really like watching him wrestle all that much, but like the idea of it is engaging to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's very much in like, this is just another Friday night at Arena Mexico here. And like, he's very, and so as a result of that, while I have a problem with it, like Kushida does kind of become the headline because there is a novelty to him working heel, as you said.
Yeah.
And I also think it's a bigger, maybe I'm wrong, it feels like a bigger match for him at this point in the game to main event a show with 11,000 people there.
Yeah,
definitely is.
Mystico, this is just like a guy he's going to beat on a show that, in an arena he's going to be in regularly. There's some issues with this, I think, and that's not to disagree with any of what you said, because, like, I agree this was very cozy. It has to be said, in terms of believability, the grappling exchanges in this were pretty tough, I thought, because Kushida is very slick in that department, and, like, Mistico's, he kind of swings violently between doing things that are genuinely like dynamic and explosive and doing things that look like he's sort of doing them after waking up after a night's sleep. And that's what he does. He just has a very unusual rhythm, which is fine. I mean, the people like it, so that's whatever. And he still does have some very genuine bursts of pace, no doubt about it.
Sick dive to the outside.
He does a sick dive. He also brings some physicality here, which is sweet. The match's biggest issue in terms of like what's wrong with it, again, there's a lot that's good about it, and the boys covered that. The absolute dismissal of Kushida's arm work from Mistico was insane, dude. Like
that's just Mistico though, dude.
I know, but it doesn't mean, it still happened, I must be real. Like
he fed him the wrong arm at one point.
Kushida works his arm for 8 minutes. Mystico stands up and starts clapping. then with his bad arm, he points to show where he's going to run. Look, I'm just being real with what I see, I'm not saying that means he fucking sucks. What I'm getting at is the whole point of this show is like engaging with it, right? Like, it's pointless if we do matches from Mexico and Japan and I just go on and go, everyone's wonderful, I love it so much. It's pointless. Like, he threw away everything Kushida did, and I wasn't surprised because that's kind of Mistico doesn't like. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
he just does his own match, which is fine. But that was kind of the elements of the match that, were hurt as a result of that. Novi mentioned his dive was beautiful. I really liked when he did ramp up the kind of aggression, because otherwise this was like a sort of spar.
Yeah.
Kushida's healing was a highlight. It was a really nice match. I liked the match. Those are the elements that were issues with it. I looked at those because we're all pretty positive on it. Kushida is still really capable. It feels like he has more to offer than, frankly, we're seeing in the game right now.
Yep. Definitely.
Where is
I'd like
he?
to see it.
Where is he at? He's still in New Japan, I know, but not full time, right?
I think he might be full time New Japan.
He was in a weird situation not long ago. He was in TNA, but doing mostly New Japan. Now I think he's out of TNA, but not doing New Japan, but signed with New Japan.
I know he signed with New Japan because he wanted to be a heavyweight, and they said no. So yeah, I mean on Cage Match it still says New Japan, but
because I know he's in the Super Juniors gimmick.
Yeah,
he was doing like TNA, and he's a D'Amore guy, right? Because he's in.
Yeah, I thought they announced that he wasn't doing TNA anymore.
Yeah, I think once Demore was out, he was gone.
He's not anymore, but it was like a weird point in his timeline.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. Okay, this is random. Sorry, but I'm looking at his trainers. Listen to this list: Tajiri, Kazushi Sakuraba, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Nobuhiko Takada, and Scott Demore.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Beasting.
Demore
That's so
has some
sick.
crazy connections, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Wow, guys that have immense loyalty to Scott Demore, and you're gonna go what? Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So hopefully we see Kushida around. I'd like to see him and Kevin Knight do a day or two in AEW.
Yeah,
I'd very much like to see that.
Should wrestle FTR.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Be a great match.
It really would be. Just like, yeah, that'd be fun.
Do trios with Speedball if you want to.
You could with Dan Garcia as the third.
Yep. Dan and FTR.
Mm.
I was about to say the same thing, Joe.
Yep. Sweet match. I liked it. I had a good time with it. I apologize for being nitpicky. I just want to be fair. I don't want to approach Mexican top guys with like, well, you know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, you know, God forbid there's a show in Mexico right now that's not the Late Night Grin, but is equivalent to it, and they're watching like a Jey Uso match going, that's just what Jey does, you know? Whoever it is, Randy Orton, John Cena, you know, like, it's part of wrestling, right? You just got to say what you see. Again, the tonal shifts and dramatic turns, they ramp up again here because we are going from Arena Mexico back to the States. We are going to NXT at the WWE Performance Center, or I think this was for a while called the Capital Wrestling Center, and they just went back to the PC.
Yep. The CWC.
CWC. May 6th, 2025, TV main event. This one got a lot of praise. It is a very un-NXT match, very un-NXT, which makes the NXT elements of it all the more fascinating. Giulia and Jordynne Grace. I'm going to just get this out of the way now because I don't want to let any of you guys steal it. And the finish of this match, Giulia like fires up. Like as a defiant, yep. I'm not letting you do it. As a defiant show of heart before she gets killed. And Corey Graves goes, "This is fighting spirit." And not to be outdone, Booker T replies, "Strong style, guys." I lost my shit, dude. Like,
I was crying.
Booker looking at it and going, "That's kind of stupid." And just going, "Strong style, guys." You know, just awesome stuff. I like this match a lot. And there's an irony to this match in the Giulia point of view that I'll get to later. But I will start with young Novi. Giulia, Jordynne Grace, NXT main event. What did you make of this one?
Before I get going here, I'd like to mention that Corey Graves again mentions the fighting spirit later on in the match. He got the last laugh. Shout out to him for it. But this match popped me immensely. Happening in the Performance Center, they're doing like they're just rocking each other out of the ad break. They're planting each other with Michinoku drivers and shit. Jordynne at one point, she's standing on the second rope. Giulia sweeps her legs, and the bump she takes is like it's wild, very wild. Just that aspect of things, because you obviously like the NXT crowds are their own thing, and they're trying to like. I just don't think they understand this match very well. It's not to be like elitist, but it's just not.
No, they're a bunch of fucking idiots.
It's a different vibe, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really what I came away from this match. It's so un-NXT, so un-WWE. It just kept popping me. And another big point I came away with this. Jordynne Grace is made for the system. Made for it. She's
the system?
Well, that lineup is already established. She's made for the World Wrestling Federation. I worry very much about Giulia sometimes. I think if she could have matches like these consistently, then it'd be great. Yeah. But there's no one on the roster for her to have them with. So it's
You don't think Alexa's gonna have one of these?
Not so sure. I mean, she's had some bangers as of late, but you know,
anything's possible.
She's over.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I agree. Giulia is a really interesting wrestler, and like, there's a lot to like there. Obviously, the look and the kind of vibe, and you can do a lot of her presentation.
Yeah,
and she's kind of nutty. I do wonder what, like, if you take away the kind of craziness, I do wonder what it looks like as a full-time wrestler. I don't know, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see in the coming months, I guess. Kaden Lee, what did you make of this NXT TV main event?
Yeah, I thought this was awesome to watch in the PC. Like to see something like this happen in that setting was just like, it was very interesting because I had seen the clips and I just hadn't really had time to go and watch it. And yeah, like what you and Novi had said, this was a very un-NXT match. It goes against almost anything that we've seen out of that brand of the World Wrestling Federation. So it was just like an interesting. It was more interesting to me to like see those things happening. And then also to see, there was a point where Corey, I think Jordynne did a Michinoku where she dropped Giulia right on the neck. And you could tell that Corey was not happy.
Yeah.
He was very upset.
I think he was, and not like, we all poke fun at Corey, but I think it was a sincere concern.
Yeah, I think he was like.
On the earlier spot where Giulia got like dumped on her head, Corey is horrified. He's like, oh God, yeah. Yeah.
And he like jumps out of his chair.
And what makes it funnier is Corey thinks he's just seen a death. Booker T just keeps talking. Like he doesn't even attempt to put it over. Like Corey's going, oh my God. Oh, and Booker's like, anyway, let me tell you about Roxanne Perez, you know, like it was wild. He just keeps talking. Carry on, Kaden.
Yeah, it was short, but I thought that played to its advantage because of just like how much they did. Yeah. So you didn't really have to, like, you just were able to do crazy shit and just kind of keep going and throwing everything you had at the wall. You touched on the Giulia Jordynne thing. I think Jordynne, I think, is going to succeed very much in the WWE. Giulia, this match kind of showed more to me of like what I've been a little bit worried about. And you're seeing it a little bit on the main roster where I don't know if she's translating that well. And there were certain things she did in the match that I don't know. Like it just like kind of like took me out a tiny bit where I was like, okay, this is like a little too WWE-ish and trying to play into that a little too much when just be Giulia. But overall, I did really end up. I had a really good time with this. I'd like to see them wrestle again, and actually, I would like to see them do a longer match where you can you do the crazy things, but you spread it out and you put some drama in, and you do like an epic. I think these two together could do something really special if they're given the right amount of time and they're given the right stage and the right crowd. Like it could be fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure we're going to get that, right? There's been some talk about, not because, creators, but more specifically the style. I don't think this is something they're going to do a lot, right? This was, I think people were kind of spooked by this, which, look, we have our fun with it. I get it because Giulia did take some bumps that you kind of went, whoa, like there's 500 people here, like chill. But I'm not a safety police guy, and ultimately it went the way it went. It seems like she's absolutely fine. So the match was enhanced by that danger ultimately, right? It worked out. Buster, I'm fascinated what you're going to think of this. I think there's a chance you hated this. And there's a chance you begrudgingly respected it. Explain which side of that fence you fell on.
I didn't like this match very much. The work didn't really do anything for me. And that's kind of all I'm able to get out of a match like this when I don't watch the show, and I hate everything about how it's presented.
Yeah.
So when something cool happens, I go, well, hold on, and then Booker T starts talking, and I go, fuck. I can respect how hard they're hitting each other, and I can respect the bumps they're taking. Yeah. I get it. I get the appeal. I just hate everything else that's surrounding it. And also just the pacing of the match is sure, man, I guess. Yeah. I don't want to rant on about how much I fucking hated it. Not for me, but I'm not surprised by that. I figured I wasn't gonna love it
as well. The pacing was a little all over the place.
I agree. It wasn't something that I was like.
See, I liked that though because it felt kind of jerky and unpredictable in that way, which is a thing that these TV matches lack sometimes. But I get what you're saying. It was. I don't know. I get what you're saying, and I definitely understand why there's a lot. I think a lot of people really struggle with the vibe of NXT. It's just
it's so bright in there.
I don't. The look of the show. the sound of the show, the stage, the commentary. Nothing about the show is like, I'm going to sit down and watch this for 2 hours. This is what I want to do with my night. You know?
Yeah,
and then also, Nikita Lyons
respect-
comes out
let's
and
respect-
she's using AAVE. It's really bad.
Yeah, well, they didn't have it in this match, thankfully.
Yeah. Can we please be careful about talking about my employer?
Fair. Yeah, Nikita Lyons employing Kaden is crazy. All right. So, the one thing I'll note here, this isn't a criticism of the match, because in this match it made sense because they did like 12 minutes of just bombs. There does need to be like an official industry-wide memo about starting matches with the forearm exchange.
Yes.
Now, again, I haven't got beef here because they basically just beat each other up the whole match. However, if you're going to like settle into just a traditional wrestling match in the first 5 minutes, you do not need to run at each other with forearms, I promise. I've seen enough of it. That and the Fry Takayama spot, chill, please. You know, the like hockey punch deal, chill, please, for a bit. Giulia is fascinating. Her stuff swings violently in quality, doesn't it? Like, she'll throw a strike, you go, that looked like shit, and then she'll punch Jordynne in the face, you go, fuck, Tenru.
It seems like she doesn't have a middle ground, but like
yes,
she was never taught the middle ground of like going too soft and then just whacking shooting on somebody.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, to be honest. It's a fascinating thing to watch. It's unusual, really. It's a distinct quality.
She's always had that too, like even with her time in Stardom and stuff. That's why a lot of people love her, and it's also why a lot of people struggle.
She's polarizing.
Yeah.
Jordynne's effort and energy is consistent and has been this way now for always been there, but I think the last few years she's been able to execute at a much higher level, and she's got a lot of confidence, and she's become a really good wrestler, which is awesome. And she's really good in this. Something that happens that's interesting that I really like from a Giulia point of view is she initially is kind of selling like a heel, begging off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Once the PC gets with her, she says, fuck that, dude, I'm going to go and get over. And I really appreciate that, because that to me is like a wrestler. She's actually paying attention and she's feeling it, rather than just like, imagine if at the end of this match when she has the big defiant gutsy show of fire, you know, and spirit, instead she was like doing a Larry Zbyszko sell, would be like, well, waste, you know. So I really like that. I appreciate that. They do like both of them kind of go with it, because they even give Giulia a little time to fight from underneath. She kind of serves as a babyface for a bit, and the people completely go with that. I think what's actually happening in the match, I think Jordynne's just buying some time for Giulia to make sure she's alive.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens coming out of that is like the crowd kind of veers her way here, dude. Like the crowd was more for Giulia than Jordynne because of the way this match was wrestled.
Yeah.
Which, you know, didn't necessarily surprise me, but what the irony of this match that I was referencing was like, I think in a roundabout way, they kind of found what the correct Giulia presentation actually was here. It isn't super wrestler from Japan. It's zombie lady who cannot be killed, I think, is the actual way to present Giulia. Like, the crowd really get with that. She does kind of take like a de facto control segment. You know, she has that deal where she takes her over on the apron. She yanks the legs out in the middle rope, which was really sweet, right? That deal where she pulls Jordynne out. She has a neck breaker on the floor. But it's a very, very brief heat. And for the most part, this is Jordynne just like beating the hell out of her and dropping her on her head. And the people, they go with that. And it makes Giulia a babyface on what I believe was her last night in NXT. Which is ironic and funny. I do have to say this. I'm sorry to be an old head. I apologize, but I just have to say it. Superplex into jackhammer for 2. Insane. Insane.
I didn't like that either. I didn't like that.
Like, it's a superplex for 2 is, you know, like that's enough, dude. Like, let's sell the suit. Yeah. They did another move with the superplex. It's insane.
Also, like the way Giulia kicked out, she did a very like normal kick out instead of just like, a desperate one. And that one really made me mad.
And again, I know this is old shit. I'm sorry, but you know you've like trained the audience, and this isn't a Jordynne Giulia problem. The point is, the audience was not surprised she kicked out of a superplex jackhammer, which begs the question: why bother comboing them if they're not even going to blat, right? Like so. Again, I know it's like old head shit, and I apologize, but it's a superplex, man. Get the most out of that bump. It looks fucking awesome.
It's fucking like it feels weird because I feel like as fans, the marvel of a superplex hasn't been lost, but it feels like
people love it.
Don't respect it anymore. It's
Yeah,
very
it's-
weird.
Yeah, it's like Orton's the last guy who makes a big show
Yeah.
of superplex.
That and Dax,
yeah, Dax does. Yeah,
they should
Yeah.
wrestle.
agreed. But I like the match a lot. I think 3 of us liked it. Buster did not. I think that was a fair. If you were a betting man, you probably could have. The NXT vibe was not going to be for our friend the Brain Buster, but but I like the match a lot, and I thought Giulia, like, there's a lesson in here. You can learn it if you want, but you can not. But to me, it's pretty obvious what a presentation should be. And Jordynne is one of the most reliable wrestlers I think around, to be honest, and especially in the States, women's wrestlers. I think she's near the top of that list. I do have the only thing I want to push back on with Jordynne about her in WWE. I do wonder about her personality a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
like-
point for
Like,
sure.
it's not there.
I don't know if she's really found a way to like bring her what seems to be her. I don't know her, but what seems to be her real life person. I don't know if she's ever found a way to truly take that to the cameras. I don't know.
Yeah, she comes across very bland on
Yeah,
like
just kinda
even
like-
just
yeah.
the entrance. Like, there's no real big
It's a smiling baby
showboaties.
face.
Yeah,
Yeah, flexing,
wrestle.
smiling baby face. I think in bigger rooms, I think that will be a little bit of a challenge, but that doesn't mean she won't have a really good run. I'm talking about like what will separate her from the tippy top and the rest. Because let's be honest, that's what she's shooting for, right? She ain't there to be like
Yeah.
one of 20. And if you look at the top stars, and that will be a challenge. Kaden?
I think there's a greater conversation to be had now that we've seen the crop. Like, we've seen Giulia, Jordynne, Stephanie, and Zarya all coming in when we all knew they were all going to come in. Now that that's happened, I think there's a conversation to be had about, okay, what does the women's division look like next? This is like so off topic of like what we're actually talking about, but I do think I think that plays a role because the division is very stacked and it's getting good. And so when you talk about someone like a Jordynne and Giulia, and you look at, okay, where do they fit on the main roster? And it's not that they're fantastic, like they're good, they're very good wrestlers, but with the divisions getting as stacked as they are, and people like Becky's back, Charlotte's back, then you start looking at, okay, so what does happen now? And there's so many good names in NXT. So I think there's such an interesting discussion to be had about what does the next because you've had that problem with the men's division for so long in both AEW and WWE there's so many talented guys to where some really talented people just don't get on TV. And so I think now we're getting to that point with the women, which is awesome. Honestly, it's a good problem to have, that you have too many really talented people. But I think it's interesting that we're at that point.
I don't, without disparaging some of the grapplers in the World Wrestling Federation, I don't think it's as deep as their TV would like. I don't think it's as deep as their rotation would make you think. Because I think they're a lot tighter with who actually gets real opportunities, you know? I don't want to be a prick. There are people that are on TV every week that are pretty fortunate to still be on TV every week. And I like some of them. You know, what needs to happen, obviously, is the depth needs to be increased and there needs to be hierarchy. We always say this, obviously. Mm-hmm. But there also is going to have to be a thing of like, I think it's pretty obvious. You're going to see people get a certain window to go over. You know, Jordynne Grace and Giulia are not these people. They're going to get featured. Like, when we talk about how Jordynne's going to do it, it's a difference between someone who wins the strap once or twice and someone who's like a fucking mainstay. That's what we're talking about here. But there is a real thing of like, with how limited they are in terms of the mid card, I think the turnover is going to be rapid. So it'll be interesting where everyone falls into place. You know, like
I agree.
SmackDown. Yeah, go for it, Novi.
I think when you look at the not the top of the NXT women's division, but a little bit under that, your Sol Rukas, your Kalani Jordans, they're better workers than a lot of people you see on TV right now. They're the people where you're like, if these guys on TV can't do it, they're gonna get called up and they're gonna take your lunch money.
Here's the thing. It is important, and I think the names you just mentioned. So let's go. Let's actually talk about this. This is interesting. This is actual wrestling talk, right? I think Sol Ruka's vibe is cool. I think people are going to like Sol Ruka. I don't think people are going to get confused. Is Sol Ruka the one with this gimmick or that? And they're going to know her. I think she's going to do really well. I worry about the talent in NXT that is less distinct. Like, for example, I don't think Lola Vice is ever going to be a great fucking, Marvel in the ring. I think she's going to be totally fine because she has like an act and a shtick, right? I think the names that are more, I don't want to use interchangeable, but like the game hasn't changed as much as people think it has. And that was always my thing. I think there is a lot of people that are desperate to pretend it's transformed. It hasn't. The example, I talked about this a lot when Alexa's deal was coming up. The game's changed. Alexa, watch the TV. Alexa gets a bigger reaction than almost anyone on SmackDown. It hasn't changed that much. So the key really, no matter what the tools you're using, whether you're a Sol Ruka and you're doing a 450 or you're a Lola Vice and you're shimmying your hips and doing a punch, the game is the same. You need to get over.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know if you're going to be getting cutting edge creative to get over. So it's like those fine margins of popping when you get that 5-minute match with Michin or with, Chelsea Green's gals. So it's going to be interesting. I definitely agree with Kaden. Like, this is an interesting time. I mean, it seems like they're telling a story of the old guard versus the new guard, maybe. I don't love that idea, to be completely honest. Because I think, and that's a slippery slope with what you do with the old guard once, And I also, one of the people that was declared old tonight is 33 years old, and I think you need to be careful what games you play with that. I think you should probably consider things the way you're presenting people. And I mean, even Charlotte, the other part of that, Charlotte's not 40, right? Like, she'd be one of the youngest people in the whole main event in the male side of things. So, be a little careful with that, I think. Yeah. But I get the idea, and I understand it's a natural thing for fans to kind of go, oh, like the gals that were on top 5 years ago versus the new ones. So we'll see. It's mentioned in the chat, Chelsea Green is still over huge. So it's popular. The game hasn't changed that much. People just want to convince themselves it has because it's all they watch. They're projecting their own taste on it a lot of times. I think it's not. It's still, you need to go there and get over ultimately. Yeah. Sorry for getting on my soapbox there, but I'm passionate about that because I think some people, they project their own taste on the product they watch sometimes.
Yeah.
And so because they only watch Raw now, they want to convince themselves it's like All Japan in 1996. Yeah. It's like,
I mean, it's like in the most basic sense. It's like when people mature and they're like, this show fucking sucks now. And it's no, you're not 8 anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and let me be clear. That doesn't mean if you're like an in-ring fan, that doesn't mean you have to watch Chelsea Green and be like, well, I don't like her, but they do, so that means I do. No, that doesn't mean that. Oh, you can think Chelsea Green sucks. You do whatever you want. You do need to be aware that it is a different audience, I think, and
it's not for you.
Well, yeah. So in a broad scope of things, yes. And that's what makes it interesting to go all the way back around on how Giulia and Jordynne fare in that environment. That's the conversation, right? That's what's interesting about this. You never know. You never ever know. There are people that in NXT you never would have believed would have real runs, and they go up there and they had real runs because they got over that crowd. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's go back to our format. Let's take a trip to Japan. Novi, our first Deadlock Pro really coverage at all, right? And
at all. This is the first time I've ever spoken about DPW.
Set the stage for this, brother. Take it away.
It's a very interesting first venture to DPW because this is not obviously their normal shows. This is their second time out to Japan. The first time they went out there, it was collab shows with Choco Pro. This was on their own. They go out there. They find some cool names in the independent Japanese wrestling scene, and they have some of their top guys work them. So you don't really get a lot of the main storylines for DPW. You don't really get any backdrop for it. These are just matches pretty much. However, Adam Priest is defending his newly won DPW World Championship. He won that in Vegas in a 12-man elimination gauntlet. He's been built up for a long time now in DPW. He was the national champion forever. And he's been on this road for a while. A lot of fans have been clamoring for him to win the belt. He defends it twice. There's 2 of these shows. This is the night 2. He's facing off against Fuminori Abe, one half of the Astronauts. They were very close to winning some awards. What is it, last year or the year before that? Which one of those years?
Year before, I think.
Yeah, they're very well-known tag team. They were actually on one of these shows. They faced Valence is Forever on night 1.
I remember one of these shows. I think, really?
Oh no. It was in I haven't watched the match, but Kevin Koo was like fucked in that match, so I might check it out just for fun. This is also not the first time Abe has been in DPW. He had a sick match against Roderick Strong last year, which, Joe, I didn't find your cage match review of it. I looked very hard.
Yeah, that was before I think that was before my cage match life. Sweet match, really good match.
A lot of fun. This one, I guess I would describe as like trying to be fun, but definitely not trying to be a real match. I think a lot of people, when they see these 2 names, Adam Priest, Abe, you think this is going to be a technical exchange. They're going to hit really fucking hard. And that's basically what we're going to see. We don't see that. In spurts, we do. At the beginning, a little bit. At the end, especially, they do a closing stretch that is very extensive, I would say. They actually have a real match. But between that, they do a whole gimmick with the inside-outside, demanding each other, do one or the other. Punches to the mat become a major part of the match. My cat has joined me on the chair. And it's just a little disappointing for this to be the first venture into DPW, considering this just isn't a real match. And I was talking to Buster about this. This is the one match we discussed very loosely, and not to take over for a second, but Bust, you did say this is who Abe is a little bit these days, right?
Yeah. They him and Nomura have kind of settled into a comedic groove, I guess, that they have not seemed to want to get out of at all. So for me, their quality of work has declined pretty substantially.
Right. And this has been an opinion. This is not just a you thing.
It's very widely known. The Astronauts aren't like a renowned tag team as much as they once were by any stretch of the imagination. So you come away with this. It was fun to look at for parts. Adam Priest does show a couple times that, the wrestler he is. But you just kind of hope that maybe they have a real match at some point, because I think this could be a lot better. Maybe this is like, when they were having their big run, it could have been pretty great. But in 2025, it's not its peak.
Okay, interesting. Before we move on, Novi, from your take, we're about an hour and change into this show now. Do you have any advice for people that have loved this program so far, or liked it even?
Well, if they liked it, they can smash that like button.
Yeah,
and it's twice now. It's twice now. So if you did it the first time, no need this time. But if you do it again the next time, just odd numbers, Bob, lets us know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And if you've loved it, you should hit the LNG Gold membership thing, because there's no shows like this
here
as well.
There's
not a single show like this behind the paywall. But imagine if there was.
Oh my God, Joe, we have dual animals on screen right now.
There's my dog
telling stories.
Oh, bye, Carl.
Okay, so
fighting courts.
Buster,
yeah,
you discussed this in our famous group chat. You kind of talked about it there. I'll give you a chance to elaborate. It doesn't seem like the playful nature of this contest was to your liking.
No, I was pretty interested in the start of the match with the back and forth on the mat. Mm-hmm. I'm not typically like super locked in on when a match is starting that way. But I think they did a good job of like doing it in a way that I don't know. It's I can't even like articulate it well. It just interested me. I like the part where Abe has Priest in a leg lock, and Priest is like sounding like he's dying. He's like grasping for air. That popped me. But then pretty soon after that, the I saw a trend beginning to emerge, and the comedy started to come in, and I was just as it was all happening, I was wondering what wrestling moves could they be doing right now, you know?
Fair.
Priest is a very good heel. He has like all these little tricks that he does to get by, and he isn't afraid to look really stupid, which is very evident here. But outside of his bullshittery, I guess, and the little bit of wrestling you do get at the end of the match, there's not much else I like about it, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
It's disappointing, but I also wasn't like super surprised by it. I figured that I did think there was going to be a little bit of comedy, but I didn't think it was going to be like so much of the match. Yeah, it's just sad, you know.
I think it's worth, you know, this is not. I don't want to be dismissive of DPW stature in Japan, but this is not exactly a Tokyo Dome show, right? I think
No.
we do have to note that. I'm not saying that means, you know,
That's
better
fair.
or worse for you, but it does feel relevant. Kaden Lee, do you like this match?
So like, I liked when they actually wrestled. I enjoyed with the wrestling.
Yeah.
Like when they decided to actually work, it's what I enjoy a lot of the times out of wrestling. Like it was crisp, it was nice. However, half of the match was not that. So this was it just didn't fully kind of like come together for me. Even if this was like 6 minutes, like because I think this was 13 minutes long. So even if this was like half of the length and you just took out the goofy stuff they did and you just made it the wrestling they did, the grappling they did, I would have had a good time. But when you add that in, I just nothing. It just didn't come together for me, unfortunately. The more disappointing part of this is like this was my first look into DPW because I have not watched DPW, and so Novi, this now falls on you because you have been on this train for too long at this point, and I bought in. I listened to the demons, and I checked it out for the show.
Demons.
And you brought me down a dark path, brother. You brought me down a dark path.
This is not Deadlock Pro Wrestling. This is their one-off shows in Japan where they can have quirky matches with Japanese professional wrestlers.
You did this.
Fuck all this, bro. This match was fucking awesome. You know, this match was like, I don't think this match is great. I left this match deeply, wildly in love with Adam Priest. Like,
he's awesome. He has a good performance.
I think he's so good. I actually felt embarrassed for him that he like is not on TV wrestling fucking 3 times a week, or no one does that. But I thought he was incredible in this match. I was actually amazed. I get it. I'm just fucking around. I was amazed at how much. So I've seen Adam Priest work before, and I like Adam Priest. We've talked about Adam Priest before, right? We all think he's good.
Yeah.
I left this match incredibly impressed by his willingness to do something like this.
Yeah.
He does this all the time too.
I really appreciated like. See, to me, this is. I have issues with Arbe. We'll get to them, but to me, his approach here is like actually what working is. Mm-hmm. Where it's like every night is a different night. The crowd liked this. It was a small room where you could kind of do like. I mean, borderline fucking stand up at times when they're communicating.
Like, you can do like theater, legitimately.
Yeah, and improv. And this does not mean you guys are wrong because you didn't like the match. That's the end of it.
I definitely liked it more than I maybe have preface.
Right, because you were yelled at by your cohorts. But I just, to me, the beauty of it is like, if they had this match in a different setting under a different umbrella, it would be a completely different match. And I like that about this match. This is specific for that spot, you know, for that moment. I'm going to just talk about Adam Priest. So his whole vibe is like, if I could like bottle that, I would live off of it, you know? Like, I can't communicate to you how refreshing it is, how he carries himself as a wrestler and how he conducts himself as a wrestler. And the biggest thing about it is he's not doing it as like I'm actually a real badass. He's just taking himself seriously so that when he makes a fool of himself, it's funny.
Yes, his whole thing that he consistently says, I might do some cheating to win, but I'm here to fucking win. That's all I'm here to do. If it works, it works.
Has the guts to take himself seriously enough that when he does silly stuff, which he does a lot of in this match, it's actually funny, rather than walking through the curtain and being like, get ready, I'm about to do some funny stuff tonight.
Yeah.
What would be funny about that, dude?
Yeah.
What would be funny about it? The reason it's funny, to me anyway, it was funny, is because he takes himself really seriously and he's getting made a fool of. That's the whole fucking point, isn't it? That's the idea to me. Everything about the way he conducts it, the way he carries himself is great. He does healing before the bell when he takes the title away, which is cute. His temperament when they're grappling, like Abe is getting the better of him on the mat, and he's like visibly agitated and pissed off about it. Like, this prick is not only is he smiling and laughing at me, he's out wrestling me, you know, and he's getting it over with small things and big things. He does the fucking strut at one point, which at that point I was like, all right, what are we doing here, you know? They play around with the atmosphere. They make them wait. They see what works. They let it be fluid. You know, it's jazz. They're fucking having fun with it. I just really loved that. Not because I think it's a great match, because I'm just so many guys. It feels like they're wrestling just for themselves. That's the thing to me. That's why I loved the vibe and Priest specifically. Again, I do have issues. I'll get to. He does a face plant sell at one point. Pump my fist. Even like, yeah, okay, right. Now we'll talk about Abe, I guess. I've seen Abe wrestle more than Priest. He has definitely got into a level of irony that is alarming, I think. I don't mind him being playful within reason. I thought he's the worst kind of snapshot of who Abe is as a wrestler right now is when at the end of the match, when they start doing the serious part, he gets put in a figure 4 and he's still goofy. Like, selling is that at that point you're supposed to laugh. Look at how he's selling this. And it's like, okay, show me a little bit of, you know, just go through the gears a little bit here.
Yeah.
I think there's a real issue in wrestling of being ironic and what a safety net of irony. Yeah, like the safety net of irony, like I'm not I'm not taking it seriously, guys. You don't have to buy the false finish because I'm just being silly, you know.
Yeah.
Like
the thing is, like Abe and the astronauts in general, they've always had it, like that hint of irony and that hint of comedy in their work. Like the match at the first KT, the Fighting Detective show, first KT dance show they did.
Awesome.
Him and Nomura. It's a fantastic match, and there's still like
comedy.
There's still a good amount of comedy in that match. But when it's time to, you know, take shit serious, they do. And they even like it kind of comes in waves where like the match starts and it's a little, you know, they're fucking with each other, but then they go through, they throw some shoot headbutts and shit. And then sorry, I lost my train of thought. They throw in some shoot headbutts and they work, but then they, you know, there's an eye poke spot pretty late in the match, and it's like they had a way of balancing it that it feels like they just completely lost,
right?
Or they just gave up.
Yeah, I do think he lacks. He to me, he in a weird way, this match completely inadvertently, because I hadn't seen it when we picked it. It actually served as an example of like the two different approaches to comedy wrestling.
Yeah.
And for me, one is far more effective than the other. And I know, Buster, you pointed out Priest's his work here from a personality point of view. I like Adam Priest. This is not a new discovery for me. What he's capable of from like just understanding it and what it's supposed to look like and feel like, he should absolutely be making real money right now. And I don't do that to like, there's nothing I hate more than, oh, I like this wrestler. Which of the big two should they be on right now? I fucking hate that. That's not what but with love and respect to DPW, that should not be his lead platform. Like,
for sure, yeah.
It's his home base right
wrestlers. Now. Look, I don't say this shit often. I'm just being completely honest with you. There are so many wrestlers on my TV that can't lace this guy's boots.
No.
Like,
it's not so much like I want one of the big two to sign this guy. It's like the fact that there are people signed in the big two, and this guy's not like there's some people
Yes.
that you know.
It's the easiest way I can put it is I find it alarming that some of the people these premier scouts, alleged premier scouts, pick out, the fact they pick those guys out and not this guy scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the honest way. And I'm not trying to tell them
Legitimately,
those guys. I'm glad they get deals. But if this guy isn't ticking the boxes for you, but some of the other fellas are that are so they're superficial with the shit they do, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, where are we trending? Like, this guy is doing everything right, man. Like, and because what's most impressive about him is if you watch him, I could bring him in as a fucking underneath guy and he would get it and understand it immediately.
Yes.
He'd be
see
so
it
good
here.
at it.
Right. Because
He had a very short match on Collision, I think it was at one point. It was like 2
Dustin,
minutes.
I think. Yeah.
It's a great fucking showing. 2
Yeah.
minutes.
There are some indie guys that are made to be, like you mentioned him earlier. I mean this with all love and respect. Kevin Koo is an indie guy.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that. And he's going to be on the indies, you know, and he'll do his thing. And the indies fans love and respect him. And the boys like him, respect him. All that's great. This guy, Adam Priest, like, he would make TV shows better tomorrow if he got a chance. So I hope he gets that chance. I don't know if he will. But I wanted to talk about that for a minute because we do talk a lot about what we think of the indie game, and we can sometimes are a little bit mean-spirited in that regard. We try to be less so now. But I think it's important you equally shine a light on a guy who's like, to me, if I had any say somewhere, dude, he'd be on the TV. You know, like I think he's awesome. So
I get a lot of look at a lot of indie guys just because I go to a lot of DPW shows. I watch more independent stuff than I think anyone does here. He's levels above everyone else. Joe puts it there. If Joe sold you on Adam Priest, you want to check out a few of his matches, I'm gonna recommend a couple. They're DPW. He has one with Masato Tanaka from Super Battle. That match is so much fun. He has one with Kevin Blackwood earlier this year. That's very good. He has one with Kozone, who is my guy, but this match is very unique because their story is long. So I recommend maybe searching some of that story out to how they get to this match. It happened on 12/8/24. That's that match I'm talking about. And the Kevin match is on 1/26/25. So yeah, there's 3 right there. Those will tell you all you need to know about Adam Priest and what he does and how good he is at it. I'd also recommend to Joe the 12-man elimination that they had in Vegas to crown the new champion. He's the last entrant. Just start there and just watch the rest because he does a lot of the things you popped at in that match. Yeah.
And what's great about him is if you've never seen him before, you'll get the shtick immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
his match with sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it, Buster.
His match with Slim J at the Action Dean.
Oh, that match is tremendous.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel, this is the most cliche thing and I hate it, but like he doesn't feel at all like he's playing a role. He just feels that's what he's like. You know, it's
like his work is like it never feels like he's just going through the motions either. Like it's so fucking. It's fun to watch, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of people too that said Suzuki's in a form this late into his career. A lot of people were saying that was the best Suzuki match in a minute because Adam Priest did his thing and played his tunes.
I bet he didn't just fucking stand right there and go toe to toe with him. I bet he played pussy for him and coward. Yeah. All right. Good shit. Good for Adam Priest. We're headed to New Japan Pro Wrestling next. The prestigious Best of the Super Juniors. This is always a funny tour because like around 10 people I follow go this year. I watch every match and then there's like one soldier left standing eventually, you know. It's a tournament that like, and I'm not trying to be a freak, but you guys will all know what I'm talking about here. It's a tournament where they announce the lineup and people talk themselves into it and then they like hit certain markets and people look at the shows and go, I'll just check it out when it goes to Korakuen, you know, that kind of thing. This is at Korakuen. This is from the May 15th Best of Super Juniors night. This is the main event. It's Francesco Akira and Hiromu Takahashi. Buster, if I can, I want to kind of go back to you in the way I did with Mistico and KUSHIDA earlier. What's the vibe at this point when it comes to Hiromu Takahashi? Of course, been the top junior for many years. It's felt like he's been kind of stuck in between a jump that he's been unable to make for a range of reasons. What would you say if we're doing a temperature check, what do you think people are at with Hiromu at this point?
So, I mean, take a guy like Khalid. He's like a huge LIJ fan. He loves Hiromu. Even he's at the point of like Hiromu matches don't even pique his interest at this point and it's not Hiromu's fault. The way he works, I'll talk about it when we get to the match, but like he's still a good worker. He's still very capable, but it's just he's kind of going through the motions at this point. He's wrestling the same junior match he's been wrestling for fucking 10 years. So it's really nothing against him at all. Like he's doing good shit in there, but it's for what reason? Really, why should I get invested in Hiromu Takahashi as a junior in 2025 when he's so clearly ready for the jump to heavyweight? I don't know, but they seem to think there's something there. You know,
one of my notes specifically is Hiromu is exactly the Hiromu I remember.
Yeah,
you know,
there's nothing wrong with that. Like he still works great. It's just
I like the Hiromu I remember. I enjoy his matches, but you know, there's a limit.
Yeah.
And opposite him here, Akira. Is it Akira? Because Chris Charlton seemed to say it in a different way.
It's Akira.
I don't listen to Chris Charlton.
Yeah, I was very confused, and I didn't know if I was.
Anyway, I think it's Akira. I think
because he's like the way he was saying it sounded like he was. It was very interesting. I don't know. I'm sure he knows the way it's out. I just couldn't make out what he was going for. This is an example of me being a prick. Sometimes happens a lot. The boys are experienced with this. Francesco Akira, in like broad strokes, is a wrestler that I would not like very much. To be completely honest, like he does high spots, which is such a stupid criticism because it's like every wrestler in the world does high spots. But he's a little guy who does like flashy moves, and visually he doesn't exactly, there's not like a lot there. And so for a while I just kind of presumed I would dislike him, and then he had a match with I want to say him and Despy had a match in Best of Super Juniors a couple of years ago. It's the first time I actually watched him properly, and I was like, "Oh, there's something more to him than just that." And I think this match kind of taps into that. He is actually a really good babyface and has a lot of fire. And most importantly, Novi, I'll go to you first on the match. Korakuen Hall is with Akira, and it gives this match a certain magic, doesn't it? What did you make of this one, mate?
It very much does. I mentioned that Hiromu is exactly the Hiromu I remember. This is not the Akira I remember. It has been a minute since I've seen him wrestle. I'm not going to pretend to have watched his other BOSJ matches from this year. But he's just so confident. He seems so like assured. He's never second guessing his steps. He understands that this crowd is with him. They will respect his work, and he will get over. And I think that adds another layer to his game that you're just not going to see from a lot of these guys. Like, you mentioned it. He's a pacey white guy who does high spots. There's a lot of people that do that. But when you have this kind of confidence and self-assuredness, it does hit a little different. And it's interesting to see, too, because New Japan has been losing some talent lately, and some of these guys are going to have to step up. A lot of people are going to look to that next generation, the Shota and the Sujis. They're going to have to be someone that is underneath them. And I think Akira, in this match, I could see him getting to that level, but at least being underneath them, can have good matches with them. That's important. That's a big deal. And he seems like a guy, like, I don't want to label anyone committed to New Japan because what does that even mean anymore? But he does seem like a guy who wants to be in New Japan, wants to be the best wrestler he can be. And I felt like I saw it in this match. It was very, pleasing isn't the right word, but it made me feel good to see a guy realizing whatever potential he might have had,
Yeah, still a young guy too. I think he's in mid-20s. I love the passion he wrestles with. I like it a lot.
He cares.
That's the biggest. Like some of his offense, I kind of go, but energy, enthusiasm, he cares. That can get you a long way if it comes across real. Hello, Kaden Lee. Did you like this match?
I really liked this match. I had quite a good time. I've liked Francesco Akira for a while, and he immediately in this match. And I haven't watched a lot of this stuff in the last little bit because I don't watch New Japan as much as I used to, unless we're doing stuff. but I was reminded very quickly how much I enjoy him, and still dumbfounded that New Japan hasn't pushed him to the top of the junior heavyweight division, because it just like he would be so good and do something different, because that division, like in my opinion, at least from what I've seen, has been a lot of like the same people kind of rotating in and out, and he's someone who could do something interesting by getting elevated to that spot. Hiromu is another. I love Hiromu. I have his shirt. He's I think one of the only New Japan active talent whose shirt I own. And I've worn it to wrestling shows. I love Hiromu Takahashi. So getting this, watching him do this and like having a great match again, or great in my opinion, match again, was really nice. Because I've been missing that for a while. I went to Chicago last year and was like badly hoping that Ali match would be good, and then it ended up being very bad. And Hiromu was just kind of like, to an extent, has disappointed me a lot in the last year since then, and probably longer than that, to be honest. So getting to see Hiromu was you're getting to see him back and like doing something that I enjoyed. It was really was really nice. This match, I don't think it was my favorite out of them in terms of like the actual in ring, but it made me feel better than anything else, because it was two people who I like having a really good match, and it just made me and like the setting of Korakuen as well. Like everything about it was just like what I want out of wrestling.
Yeah, I get it for sure. They do meet in the middle of forearms, if you're wondering, for those of you keeping score.
Yes.
But I don't know. Honestly, I agree with a lot what Kaden said. I thought it had a really good vibe, this nice feel to it. Buster, did you like this one, mate?
I did. I think this is probably my favorite match. I know we're going to do our top 3 after this, but after. Yeah, I think they do a good job of. Listen, I mean, starting the match with forearms it's not great, but I think they do a good job of like starting it hot for a crowd that seemed to be like really interested in seeing the match. Anyways, they were already like kind of buzzing before the bell even rang.
Yep.
But they did a good job of starting it hot and settling it down, and then getting the people back for the finishing sequence that was awesome. A little heavy on the false finishes, but I kind of expected that, I guess. But yeah, I mean, they work really hard. They push a crazy pace. Really, really good match. A lot of good back and forth. I guess generally, my complaint about the entire junior division, really, it's really nothing to do with this match specifically. Well, a little bit to do with this match, but the New Japan junior division consists of mostly junior guys working the heavyweight style, and it's kind of infuriating, to be totally honest. It's been this way for a bit now, and every time I watch one of these matches, it's like identical to a Tsuji or Umino match, and there's nothing distinct about it, I guess. Yeah. I felt this way about the finals last year, I believe, was Despy and
Hiromu, I think.
Was it really? Okay, yeah.
I think it was.
That match was when I first like started to realize it. So this match is really good. The fellas, I mean, they work really, really well together. But generally, the division was, I wish it was more than what it is, I guess. You know? There's no distinct style.
There are definitely... There's a checklist vibe to some of the New Japan stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, and I think every promotion has it, but there are definitely things in New Japan main events, which of this was, you know, like that you know you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Especially when they go into like fighting spirit stuff, you kind of go, the people are already with Akira without him like firing up and doing a lariat. You know, like I mean, his lariat looks great.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it all works, and
because they do it well.
Yeah, and then like it doesn't hurt the match. It just it hurts the show, in my opinion, because there's no variety.
Yeah, I agree.
Who would you say bucks that trend of the juniors? Because I
don't watch closely enough. That's an interesting question.
I mean,
more of a Buster question there, because I think we could both
actually does do a good job a lot of the time of Akira.
Yeah,
I think he does actually do a good job of it. Doki, he's probably the best junior they have.
But Fujita.
him, yeah, he works like kind of the bomb style, but it's not necessarily like purely heavyweight, I guess.
Okay.
He's just more like strikes instead of high spots and flips and stuff, which is that's a strain of junior style, I guess. And then Master Wato, I think, is a little. He's not the best of those names that I listed, but he's a good job at it, I guess. But Doki's the best one, I think. Doki's the way he got injured was like it sucked because I thought he was going to go on like a great run.
Thought he was going to win that match.
I'm interested to see. That was in January. Is he expected back anytime soon? God.
He's not in this tournament, so.
Well, yeah, for sure. No.
Well,
yeah. Well, the tournament right now, it's a very interesting one. I know we're not like caught up. I don't think any of us are really. But it's very jumbled right now. I'm looking at the Block A standings. Wato has 8 points. Everyone but Ninja Mac has 6 outside of that. Yeah. So it's like there's. I think it's really going to come down to like the guys who win these blocks come out of it. Those are the guys they're paying attention to. That's what it feels like to me. This is the year they're defining the top of this division.
By the way, full props to Ninja Man. That viral spot, the actual real viral.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking cool to see a guy who like he's been playing that music for a bit, but it's cool when it like when it catches fire with the right audience, because people were seeing that do not watch a lot of wrestling and were like, what the fuck is this guy doing? This is amazing, which is really cool.
Yeah, but he follows Death to AEW, so
yeah, true. I hadn't considered that sort of a 50-50 thing in it. Yeah,
dude, he said that stuff about Pat McAfee, dude.
Yeah, he shouted out Pat McAfee. That's kind of lame, to be honest.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, that's lame for a shoot, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. He could work for a wrestling company. Yeah, no, seriously, that is cool, legitimately. But
yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, a couple of things on this. I really, really like this match. I don't know, like they obviously want to get the submission over. Whenever you try and get a thing over, it's kind of tough, I think, and it takes a minute. So, like, in just an ideal world, that wouldn't have been the finish for the match we're talking about here, but it didn't like hurt or anything. It was fine. I do like when the match kind of has the vibe of being like pace versus timing, that kind of feel. And like Takahashi gets to kind of be like a power guy and a bully at times, which is sick.
Yeah.
I don't even think Hiromu is like particularly interesting as the sort of rugged veteran in control.
Yeah.
But Akira is such a good babyface. It works. That dynamic totally works. It gets them through the middle of the match. They have that spot where Hiromu does the cool thing off the top rope. I can't remember what he does. He does like a deal off the top. And I really liked they used it. They got a whole there's so much struggle up there. It was like a whole set piece on the top rope. Like, well, they weren't they? Which was really sweet. So yeah, I really like the match. I think it's one of the best matches we covered. It definitely does have some of those checklist trimmings that I kind of go, here it comes, But if you're going to do it right. And they execute it really well. And Francesco Akira is a player. He's one to watch. And that's not me doing like, he's a prospect. Kaden, calm down. I don't mean one to watch as in like we've discovered a wrestler. What I mean is, if you're an asshole like I am, and you sometimes just see a wrestler and go, nope.
Yeah.
Actually watch his matches. There's more to him than you may like ignorantly dismiss. So
very similar to Callum Newman right now, which I saw it mentioned in the chat. It's like they're in kind of similar spots. They really are, It's watch their matches a little bit. They I know he gets like he's the Prince of Pace, It's kind of it's interesting. But he has cool matches. It's different.
Yeah, I haven't seen as much of him, but like he seems to be doing well. The main thing with Akira is that babyface fire, dude. It's good. Really good.
I wanted to bring this up really quickly.
Yes, mate.
Because Clark being a junior, I wanted to. I don't know. No, it's not like trying to dunk on me here, but just to clarify, having people that are in the division that work like a power style or they work more like a heavyweight in the junior division isn't an issue. But when it's like consistently how your main event matches are worked, then it becomes an issue for me.
Right.
Like, there's no distinction between this.
It should be the outlier, not the normal.
Only one match. Yeah.
Let's take a trip to Marigold. Marigold Rising Spirit. I believe this was the 4th of May.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll check quick.
Mayu Iwatani, Nanae Takahashi. This was Mayu's first Marigold match. It was a very quick turnaround. Like, right, she left, started, and like a
Mhm.
week later, here she was at Korakuen Hall.
Fourth of May.
Nanae
Yes.
Takahashi is a veteran, right? Like deep in the game, right?
Yeah.
I don't know
Since
how
the 90s.
Yeah,
She's retiring soon.
He's
Okay.
retiring
I think it's-
today.
Yeah, it's like today
Today. Holy fuck.
Today's her
on
retirement
tonight's
match.
Marigold
Oh.
show.
Shit. Okay, well there you go. Purely ignorance in this regard because I don't know, but like I was surprised when I just looked on Cage Match very briefly. It didn't look like there was a ton of matches between these two, which like
No.
just out of my pure ignorance, I was like, I just presumed,
Yeah.
because I did that stupid thing that we all do sometimes where you just go, well, 2 Japanese women's wrestlers, of course they would have wrestled 100 times, which is absolutely is not the case. There's different promotions, different political elements and partnerships and so on and so forth. It is not a first time match, but it isn't a common thing. I think it's worth noting. This got rave reviews, which is always scary when you're doing something like this program. I think it had like a 9 on Cage Match. And I saw some people, this was like a match of the year situation for them. I knew it wasn't going to get there for me just because I didn't have there wasn't the allure of it for me. There's a lot I liked about it though. There's a lot to talk about. Buster, I'll go to you first. Mayu, Nanae, what did you make of this one?
I feel like a hater. It didn't click for me the way I would hope that it would. There's a weird structure. Like there isn't any build to like the big. It kind of starts with what I would expect the climax of the match to be honest. Like it erupts into like a bunch of false finishes and bomb throwing, and outside of the work looking really good, it doesn't capture me for like a large majority of the match. The finishing stretch, I think, is where I was the most interested, but even then it felt like a little before that the match had truly peaked, and they didn't. There was still like another 8 minutes or so left in the match. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't in love with it. I think the work looked incredible. Mayu pushes like a crazy pace when she's in control. She takes some awesome suplex bumps. Nanae countering Arana into a Boston Crab was incredible. It popped
That was great.
huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just a little bloated, but with some like expectedly fantastic work,
Yeah. I'm torn on the structural point. I don't really see what you're saying. There's like an extended submission spot in the opening minutes that feels like it should have been saved. Like it's like an extended false finish and a submission, like 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
I did like the way they set the stage though with that extended lockup.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the visual of Takahashi almost like bulldozing on that first lockup and kind of standing over it. And that kind of sets the tone, right? And, we should note here before I pass the ball, like this is not a match that, I mean, they have a pretty clear idea of what this is going to look like. And it is, for the most part, Mayu getting the hell beat out of her and just kind of staying alive and fighting back. And you get a lot of that. My gut feeling on this was I thought it was 2 great performances that because of the length of the match and the fact that it was so direct with that shape, I thought it was 2 great performances in a good match would be the way I would describe it.
That's fair.
But I don't know, maybe I'm off base here. Novi, what did you think of this?
This is a very interesting watch for me because there were 2 matches on this event that we're doing tonight that I've seen before. Obviously Dynamite, and then this one. Yeah. The first time around, I had a lot of the same issues that Buster brought up. The second time around, I thought this was a match of the year contender. I love the way they structured this match.
Awesome.
There was just obviously you start the match with the feeling it's her first time in Marigold. She's tearing up. She's throwing the first pitch. That it still connects with me just because I love to see like the people really embrace her there.
It was cool.
And then going from that, I think Takahashi's whole goal was to be the wall for her to overcome. You have to prove yourself around here. I'm gonna be this force, and once if you can topple me, you can get to the rest of this roster. And they set it up so well because a lot of this match is dominated by Takahashi. She's shutting her down at every turn. She's putting her in submissions. Mayu's having to like fight and claw and scratch all the way to the bottom rope, and she's great camera work on those too, because she eventually gets there. But just the way she sells it and stuff. And there was a spot in this match that got clipped up a lot. Takahashi sets up 2 chairs in the middle, asks Mayu to fight her. At first I was like, this is a little, it just didn't really connect with me. This time around, I was like, this feels like a moment where she's saying, show me how much real you got in you. Show me what you are. Because Joe, like you mentioned, they've not had a ton of matches together. They've only had one singles match, and that was in 2012. A lot has changed since then, a lot. And it especially like pops me too that this is the way the match is structured with Takahashi retiring like 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, but like a little under a month after this takes place. It's pretty sick. The headbutt spot, Mayu and Takahashi, fucking incredible. The noise on that was
wild,
rough. Rough. The only part of this match second time around that I didn't love was the finish, the very end. I felt like that should have been totally conclusive rather than it being her kind of catching her in a way. I know she set it up and she got her to that point. I get it, but it should have just been a 1, 2, 3. You've toppled me. Now you can have Marigold. Good luck. That kind of thing. That's how I wish I would have been, but it just connected with me, the story they were telling. I completely understand a lot of those issues because I, at one point, did agree with them. But watching this a second time, it really hit for me.
I definitely get it, and I do think it's very good. I think it's one of the best matches we covered here, personally. And there's a lot of greatness within it. There's some certain, even the second time they lock up, they get in that sort of test of strength situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they struggle with position. And Mayu is so great at fighting from underneath. So, like,
oh, she's getting her ass beat. Like, at the end of this match, you see it, like, she's roughed up, dude. She's got marks all over her body. It's
yes.
She went through hell and she earned it.
They lock up. Takahashi, like, she's obviously bigger and stronger. And Mayu's like, she's getting overpowered, and they have this. She just stops for a second and sells with her face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm not giving up this spot. So she pushes up for it. And Korakuen Hall rumbles like she just did like a brainbuster, and all she did was just push back to neutral. And then she gets bumped because the whole point is she's fighting from underneath. But there's a lot of touches like that, which, I'll elaborate on in a second. But Kaden Lee, did you like this match?
Yeah, I don't have as much to say as Novi and Bust did, but I did like this match. Thought it was good. It was pretty good. Yeah, it's just like I don't. This is just the one where like.
So it was good. It was pretty good.
Would you say this is interesting? Would you say, Kaden, your lack of connection to the grapplers made it hard for you to? Yeah.
I had the.
You're just not a big fan of Nanae, bro.
I had the same problem. So when I did not hear what Buster said at all.
Okay. Yeah.
Carolers.
Okay. Well, I had the same problem when we did the show where we were watching 2024 matches, and we watched the tag match from Surrealism. I had the same problem where it's just like I don't have a connection to the wrestlers. I don't watch I think that's my first. I might have watched Mayu before, and I've obviously never seen Nanae. So I didn't. It's just it's a struggle for me, and it's a style that I don't particularly watch a ton. And when I do watch it, it's more Americanized. So yeah, it's just it is a struggle for me a little bit, and it's one where like it's not me saying I didn't like it, because I did like the match,
right.
And if I can see myself potentially like getting into it. Like I think I can see that like if I took the time and I watched Joshi and I watched more of stuff like this, I would like it. It's just that I'm not going to.
Yep.
So
it'd be good for that actually, Kaden.
What?
There's this little show. It's called the Grabs Podcast, right? And it's being acquired at the moment, so it's not in form. But there is a show that you can find on the Grabs Podcast YouTube channel going over Nanae Takahashi's career.
Thank you.
True.
It's called the Puro Time Capsule. Puro.
Yes.
Yeah. It's called the Time Capsule. It's going to be on this channel,
if you will.
Yeah.
If you will.
Puro.
It's going to be on this channel.
Yeah, there's like 4 hours of like Joshi coverage on that show. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But I actually, to be honest, I appreciate that Kaden just went, I couldn't really break the seal on it. Because he's fucking, that's the truth. That happens to me sometimes too.
Yeah. It would have happened to me without that show, because that added so much context to her, and I appreciated her work here more because of it.
The reason I found this easy to get into than like sometimes when I watch Joshi stuff, when I just drop in, is like the context for this. I did think helped with Mayu, driving the promotion.
Oh my god.
You can't just fall over.
Went off camera and just died.
The context I thought helped because I thought that like Novi mapped out perfectly, but that was the story they were telling. Like, if you've not seen the match, Novi wasn't describing saying that he was like reaching for. Like, it was absolutely the story. A few things I wanted to point out. Like, this is the reason I said two great performances. I mean, Nanae's a beast here, roughhouse, just bruiser. Mayu does so many things to keep the match alive when in reality she is like she's basically a punching bag for like 75% of a 25-minute match here, and that is tough, dude. I mean, for example, to go back all the way to our first match, Maclin and EY probably takes 7 minutes of control. By the end of that 7 minutes, granted, he's not doing the stuff in the night, but by the end of it, you're going, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the whole time she's flying around the area, and you're with it the whole time, which I think is really impressive. I love the spot where Mayu does the dive and she gets met head on with the chair. That was awesome. I hate crowd brawling at this point in my life, and I thought this was like actual good crowd brawling and culminated with the tumble down the stairs, which was a cool visual.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, I didn't love the match as much as I wanted to, but I absolutely, there's no choice but to respect the amount of.
There's a lot of good in
that
here.
Mayu goes through, dude. Like,
there's a lot of good, and the fact that she actually sells that like beating. She doesn't just register each thing. There's a continued evolution of like, I would argue to a fault where it feels like she's at death's door with time left in the match. You mentioned Buster,
yeah,
but she absolutely is like she's selling and then some. There's a moment late where, and I always love when they do this spot where like, Mayu's been through hell and she throws this like weak forearm. It's like, oh, she's in big trouble now. Like that kind of. I think there's a lot of great things in this match. I think if Mayu Iwatani is one of your favorite wrestlers, this is probably one of the most powerful matches you've like ever seen.
Yeah.
Because this is a huge moment in her career and a huge move in her career, and this is the way she kicks it off. Like, I definitely get why this is getting rave reviews. For me, it was really good, and it had two great performances. But without that attachment, it is a big part of wrestling for me. Is that attachment? So, but and like if we keep doing this and we do it in different formats, stuff, we can get 6 on and like get more of a what I provide for TNA. That on the ground coverage that you get around this spot. But it was really, really good, really, really good. All right. It's time for our last match of the modern matches. This has gone longer than I thought it has, to be honest. This has been really fun, boys. I hope you've enjoyed this as you're at home. And also, the fellas on the screen, this was kind of a, we actually did wrestling talk, and I've enjoyed it. I can't believe it. We should do it more often, maybe, within reason. AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday. I don't know what that date was. Was it the 21st? 21st. The go home for Double or Nothing. This featured a All-Star Trios match. We're going to talk about this match, and then we're going to talk conceptually about the party match, which has been a huge part of AEW's latest pay-per-view cycle. And I think it's been huge, actually, for the perception of the Young Bucks, who feel like they have really heated up as a result of just being able to play their music again rather than trying to fucking reinvent themselves at 38 years old or whatever they are. We have the aforementioned Young Bucks. We have John Moxley and a bizarre trio. The Alliance to end AEW, and they are opposite a very cool babyface group, it has to be said, of Swerve, Strickland, Powerhouse, Hobbs, and Samoa Joe. There is a lot here for me personally. I have much to discuss about this match, and that's why I was very bullish on us doing it, because I think this match, I think it's very good, but I think it's more interesting than anything else, because I think this match kind of walks a tightrope between styles, which I will get into here momentarily. Kaden Lee, you were very bullish on doing this match also. Dynamite, All-Star Trios. What did you think, brother?
Yeah, I love this match. AEW for me is built on the party matches. I think that's such a key part of what AEW is, and they went away from that for a little bit in terms of they would do it every once in a while, but it really felt like they were trying to avoid that, and it was something that I was preaching for coming back, because I thought it's so crucial for the shows. Not every week, you don't need to have it every single week, but I think it's important to have it a lot because it is it is like what they're kind of just built around. And so the last few weeks, AEW's brought them back and has been doing it. You have the Young Bucks versus Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. You have the 8-man tag that they did for the $4,000. That was also very good. The Young Bucks have been consistently doing these party matches. It's been awesome for them to like be working Dynamite again because that rules. And then this one, I think was kind of like a culmination of everything because you're getting some major talent in there, and it's also being used to push a story forward. And all of these matches that have been leading up to this pushed that story. And so now you have here that's now going into Anarchy in the arena. And so the way they did everything, I thought worked super well. You see the Young Bucks with they had the shirts off, bless. They have really good gear and they're doing their Buck stuff. And you have Moxley, who's playing his role very well, as the guy who clearly does not want to be in this style of match. And you can tell he does not like it in terms of like his character. And I don't even know, like, him as a wrestler, he might not even like it in general, but as a character, he wouldn't like this type of match. He wouldn't really want to be working with the Bucks all that much. So I thought they worked on that very well. And then on the other side, the Joe, Hobbs, and Swerve team, I thought all worked together very well. And they presented them the way they needed to be. Swerve and Joe doing the walkaway spot at the same time on the outside of the ring was fantastic. Everybody kind of doing, you have the finishers all being hit at one point. And then the way this breaks down at the end as well to lead in the Anarchy in the arena segment, I thought everything here meshed together really well. And while it's probably not the best party match that AEW's done in the last 6 weeks, it's the one that worked the best for me because of the story that they told and the way that this contributed to everything. They really got something special with this match. And within like 3 minutes, I knew that they were doing something really special here. So this is one of my favorite TV matches of the year. It's a match that I'm going to watch back and I'm going to keep watching back, especially because it's talent that I love. I just had such a good time with this.
Awesome. Tremendous. For those of you keeping score at home, it does start with forearms. They are notably, they're pretty meaty forearms, to be fair, because Joe and Moxley. But just for those of you with your calculators out, it happened. Novi, you were less bullish on this, I believe. Am I correct in saying? Go for it.
You are correct in saying that. It was very. I more really wanted to do the Bucks versus Kevin Knight and Speedball. It's just that I really like that match. The interesting thing that happened, though, there's a very interesting thing that happened. Because I mentioned in our last match with Mayu and Nanae that my brain connected with it more. Watch this back, brain connected with it more. This match is awesome. I'm not as high on it as Kaden is, I don't think, because it's not one of my it is like up there in my favorite TV matches of the year, but it wouldn't be like P1 or anything like that. But yeah, it was just the way everything meshed together. It was tremendous. Samoa Joe, I will always love Samoa Joe. His hot tag is great. But I feel as though Joe will give a lot of praise to Joe. So there's someone in particular I'd like to give a lot of love to. Powerhouse Hobbs. He's not necessarily the person he is the person in this match you'd point to and think of him as maybe an outlier, because all these other guys are main eventers. They have been established in that role for a minute. Hobbs is finding his way at that spot. He rose to the occasion. In certain moments of this match, he wrestled like a big man. He slammed Nick to the ground a couple times. It was awesome. I think he's done such good work. I think AEW's done such good work keeping him over, keeping him engaged with some of these top storylines. So I do want to give love to him. I think he has so much potential. I still see it. I saw it so much in this match. So shout out to Powerhouse Hobbs and shout out to this match. Good time.
Yes, sir. Indeed. Brainbuster. I know you did not get a chance to revisit this in the detail you hoped to. So before I do my extensive monologue, I just want to give you a chance. Anything you'd like to add for this match in particular, and then I'll go back to you on the broader topic.
Not necessarily. I just generally I do when I watched it live, I do remember liking the match. So I figured, that whatever that means.
Means a lot to me, bro. Okay, so there's a lot here, and I want to talk kind of about what this match to me represented broader than the actual match itself, which the match itself was very good. But it's more, as I said, it's more kind of interesting. Before I get into that, there's a lot of small things to highlight, right? Like they tease Joe's dive, the Bucks cut him off, and then he hits the dive 30 seconds there and he gets a big reaction. Structurally, they take their time, which I'm going to get into more in a second. You know, like they look a gradual shine halfway through the break, then they do. To be honest, the cutoff's pretty tame, but they come back out of the break in heat, right? They're getting heat on Hobbs, some limb work. With Hobbs, I really like the way that's kind of been established. Like the injury is kind of his Achilles heel. And I agree with everything you said about Hobbs. I think the way he's been presented as a babyface is awesome. Say what you will about John Moxley, it's very obvious what he thinks of Will Hobbs. He thinks he's absolutely, box office. Right. Every time he works with Hobbs, he makes a point of like, I don't want to fuck with this guy. It's awesome. So I like that. And Moxley cheats for his advantage on Hobbs, which is, if you know, a trend. They work the knee. Hobbs showed a really nice touch. He does a catch, world's strongest slam counter. And he kind of staggers when he catches him because the leg's been worked, which was sweet. Swerve then makes a hot tag. There is a near accident situation, I should say, when Swerve slips on that deal on the floor.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Whoa, that was like, what are the chances, dude?
What was that down there?
I don't know, but like, what are the chances of that being where his foot landed, bro? That's fucking, that's bonkers. In the heat on Swerve that comes soon after that, you get huge "We Want Joe" chants. There's a cool moment in which Kaden kind of referenced Mox and Bucks as a team. They like team up for a little combination offense, which is cool. It is a little long on the second heat, I thought, and it goes for an entire ad of heat on Swerve. I think Swerve has a lot of strengths. I don't think necessarily Babyface and Peril was one of them. I have more to say about Swerve, which I'll get to. Headbutt, double down, sorry. They finally get the Joe hot tag, and it felt like a Randy Orton hot tag in the fucking RK Bro era. Like everything he did, the people were like, oh my god, Yeah. It was just red hot. I mentioned it on Twitter, so I don't repeat myself too much, but like the way he feels right now is very unique. The amount of respect the audience has for Samoa Joe as a babyface is so fucking cool. And it feels like we so seldom get babyfaces like that anymore. Like we get babyfaces that are human and vulnerable and relatable, and I think that's great. But sometimes, man, a guy just wants to just put the telly on and watch a guy kick ass, And Samoa Joe's appeal is like everyone respects him, everyone thinks he's the man. There's no complication to it, and that's not an indication of everyone else being less of that. It's just like that's how special he is as a presence. Because if other guys projected that or tried to be that, they would come across so phony. And it's like he just comes off like the real deal. You can't overstate it. A couple other individual performance things, and then I want to talk about the structure of the match. It has to be said this was a pretty funny Swerve Strickland night. I think, and I get it and I understand, but I think Swerve did the maths on the team he was on and was like, I kind of need to be the one that plays ball with the Bucks here because like I don't want the big boys out there doing ranas, which I appreciate. I do think it's probably time for someone to tell Swerve that he has put on extensive muscle and no longer weighs 180 pounds though, because some of the stuff he does, just to be completely real, like he can't do it at the pace he used to do it because he's bigger and he doesn't need to do it anymore. Just to be
damn forward rolls. Stop doing the forward rolls.
He's a top guy now. Like I get it. He loves it. He's put a lot of size on, and it looks really slow. I'm just being completely honest. Yes. He's only way I can put it.
The guy just has to stand there.
And as a result of that, he kind of like, man, you're teaming with Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs. You don't need to be doing forward rolls, please. You're better than that. You're a top guy. That's the only negative. Okay, the reason this match interested me and the reason I picked it is before we have a conversation about the party match, this quietly, if you actually look at it closely, is not just a party match. This is kind of like it kind of walks a tightrope because this has double heat. This goes over 20 minutes. They have double heat. In broad strokes, if you were to outline what happens, this is like something you would have seen on one of those early collisions. So it's like the fact that it was that, but we all described it as a party match because of how fun it was and how light it was, is such a credit to the Young Bucks, who don't get nearly enough props for how versatile they are as wrestlers. Double or Nothing weekend coming up. Lest we forget 4 years ago, Double or Nothing 2021, they work a classical tag with Eddie and Mox. They can do that, and they can do it in a way that actually fools people into thinking they like a wrestling they don't.
Yeah.
They're that good at it. Every one of us describes it as a party match, and like I watched it back again. It's like it is a party match, but the fact that it's actually very conventional in shape and outline is quietly the most impressive thing about it, I think. So, yeah, that's the main thing I just wanted to talk about was like the kind of brilliance of the Bucks and their underrated subtlety, I think, in terms of the way they pull things off. They are in great form right now. Okay, with that in mind, boys, this is one for you guys because I'm not as locked in. This has been a real thing, right? The Bucks have come back to TV and they're doing the Young Bucks and they're giving all sorts of party matches. I want to go to Novi first because I want to give you a chance to talk about the Speedball and night match, and then we'll just kind of talk about this broadly. But firstly, that match, Novi, and then once you're done with that, go into the topic of the party match in general. Go for it.
I think that match, you made a good point there about the Bucks having more range than people giving them credit for. That match, the party match, and this match is a good example of them having three different kind of things while also still feeling like themselves. Because in their match with Speedball and Kevin Knight, they are there to make Kevin Knight look like a fucking star. They're there to make Speedball look like the biggest deal in the world, and they accomplish that. And then they get over in the end. They find their little ways. In the party match, they're there to structure it. They're providing a ground for people to run in, take them down. They're taking these sick bumps because they're in the greatest shape I've seen them in some time. That's what they're best at. They do this match. They're piecing things together. They're connecting Jon Moxley's heat segments and his him working over the baby faces and adding that little bit of flavor, a little bit of love for the crowd in there too. The Bucks are in incredible form. You said it. They are this. I don't know what to compare it to, but it's definitely the most I've enjoyed the Bucks in a long time.
They're being the Young Bucks, bro. That's what it is.
Being themselves.
The truth, and if you don't like the Young Bucks, that's fine. But like the reality is that year or two they had before this was the outlier. This is not the outlier. This is what they do. They just got way in their fucking head, and they started doing this. Like, no, we're actually going to get a different kind of heat. The heat is that they look like guys you want to punch. That's the heat. That's always been the heat. They don't need to fucking dress up their matches or wear, different outfit. Like, the great thing about the Young Bucks is they can do the most impressive tandem offense you've ever seen, and then all it takes is one taunt, and the people go, "Fuck these guys." Yeah. Especially when they're working with guys like Hobbs and Joe, and that's what I loved about this match. And again, to go back to the kind of middle ground, at core, this was a match about the people wanting to see the babyfaces kick ass, dude. So like, this was really a best of both worlds situation. I thought.
You know, a good example of that too.
What's that?
During this match that we're talking about, the one with Mox, I think it was Swerve. They do a double move, and Matt screams out, "Hit him with something cool!" And the crowd hears it, and they're like, "Well, fuck that! What the fuck? These guys are lame." And that's the Bucks.
Yeah, they're assholes, dude.
Yeah,
they don't need to wrestle boring or bland. They are heels. Like, look at them.
Dead.
They're assholes, man. They're great. Absolutely. Buster, your broader thoughts on the party match and what it's done for AEW's TV, mate?
I think it's like, okay, forgive me, guys. The phrase "restore the feeling" in a literal sense is what this match has done, where it's like AEW shows used to feel like parties. They used to feel like these big things were happening and these matches that were like making the crowd go fucking insane were happening. And it was, it just felt fun. It was a fun time. And that is like something, a wrestling show you could watch without taking it like too seriously. It's exactly what these matches are, because outside of these matches, you have things that you should care about, like the stories you should care about, but you have these moments where it just, everything explodes. The crowd is, they're on their feet, they're clapping, they're chanting, and there's guys in there doing flips, and they're doing, big power moves, and they're doing all this cool shit. And it's like the perfect way to open a show, I think, especially because it's like, it's just fun. It restores fun to the show. Yeah. It makes it feel like something I should be buying into again. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's what I remember, I guess. It's
Yeah,
A
and they were
comforting
big
sense
part
of
that.
familiarity.
They were a huge part of that. One of the main pieces of it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I get you completely. I think you're allowed to get swept on those things and be romantic about this. If you can't, what's the point, right? Caden, anything you want to add in terms of the party match? I know it's something you've talked about a lot too. So, like, anything else you want to say, go for it.
I just agree with what, like, I think Buster actually, like, said it the best. And when you talk about what restoring a feeling actually means, it is such an overused thing in the last year and a half. This truly is it, though. Like, it does bring back what the company felt like in 2019, 2020, 2021, when we were in that golden age of AEW. On 2019, maybe not so much. No. But like, when we were in that age of, like, AEW being awesome, this was a big contributing factor to that. I would also like to put forward the Young Bucks for best tag team of the year, because I think that everything they have done has been really good. They've had one.
It's Mayu. They can't help themselves.
I don't care. They've
not
had
even halfway through the year, Caden Lee.
I don't care. I don't care.
Fans, we give you an inch, you take a mile. It's just you can't win. You can't win. You can't win with these curls.
They had a good match that included the Great Okan, Hiromu Takahashi, and Tetsuya Naito in 2025.
Whoa, Great Okan slander for what?
Guys will work like one match across a 4-month stretch. They have a good month, and Caden's giving awards already. We're in May. We're in May, guys.
Don't care.
Come on.
Don't care.
Dave.
What's happening? Sorry.
Caden is just
the Bucks are
tag
team of the year.
Tag team of the year, dude. He's giving them tag team.
You gonna give what? You gonna give it to Fraxium? Come on,
dude. There's a team on Collision that's been fucking good this year.
Oh, FTR is good.
Good point.
Yeah.
The Paragon.
Not Paragon.
Dude, I hear the GYV match was good. I
didn't watch it, but I said that as a joke because that was the only Collision tag team I can think of, but they are actually good.
GYV are so funny to me because they do work DPW from time to time. And throughout their matches at DPW, there's always a guy in the crowd telling the bald one to stop talking because he cannot stop talking throughout his matches.
Yeah.
It's the
Jack
one
Crosby
thing I
once said that he's one of the greatest promos in the history of wrestling.
Jesus.
I was out in public and I went, oh fuck, I was that bad about it. By the way, I just saw a photo. The White Six, like at the end of the show, there was a birthday cake in front of them, which is incredible deal, dude. Like they posed and there was a birthday, and all I'm thinking, like, obviously it's cute, very touching, but because I'm fucked, all my brain's thinking is like, who set the birthday cake? Now I need to watch the segment to try and figure out which poor brother had to, was Dexter Loomis having to slide the cake in there, It's cute though. Very, very nice. All right. Let's do our top 3 matches, and then let's take a little trip back to 93, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. Okay. Your favorite match, just go favorite, because otherwise if I go third, Caden's going to get really concerned. Caden, your favorite match? From these 7.
I'm going to go with the trios, the party match.
Me too. I got the trios because I say favorite. It's had Samoa in it. Novi?
I'm going Mayu and Nanae.
That makes sense. Buster?
I'm going Akira and Takahashi.
I have Akira and Takahashi second, personally. Novi will be your second.
I think it would be tough call. I'm going to go with the party match.
Sweet. Caden Lee, your 2 seed?
I got to follow Joe again. Akira and Takahashi.
Buster, your second favorite?
Mistico and Kushida.
Sweet. I love it. I got Mayu in at 3, rounding out my top 3. Caden, who's rounding out your top 3?
Jordynne and Giulia.
Yep. Very, very nice. Novi?
I'm going Akira and Hiromu.
Tremendous. Buster, your final piece, your top 3.
Nanae and Iwatani.
Beautiful. All right. Let's take this little bonus trip back in time. This match was 32 years ago today. Slamboree 93. Weird show. Legends Union show. Like all the old lads get in there and grab them. And it's an interesting show.
I clicked on the show to watch the match, and the fucking Dick Murdoch's in there. I go, whoa.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Did you, by the way, the famous is still real to me, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they posted like the full thing. It's way funnier that after he cries, he goes, anyway, my question is, can we tell some great stories about the legend that is Dick Murdoch? lost my shit, dude. I was like, oh my god, that's what he was going to ask after all that. And
God,
Terry
that's
Funk
so
goes, oh
sick.
yeah, we could tell some Dick Murdoch stories, bro. Oh, that's great. Slamboree, yes, you get, there's the tag match with the Blondes. There is On and Wyndham for the big gold, which Buster and I talked about briefly, but it's like not quite what you want it to be, but there's blood and it's nice.
There's a lot
nice
of blood,
match.
so it's
Yeah,
fun.
good match. And the main event, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, if you will, for a very short-lived WCW run. Strange WCW run. Never feels like he fits in WCW. He is wrestling the top guy, really, in WCW. I mean, him and Sting, obviously, the rivals at the top of the card, Big Van Vader. This is for the WCW heavyweight title. They had not touched at all until the week prior to this. This was the 23rd. They wrestled on the 20th and the 21st. So, like, they did this match just to, I guess, figure out what it looked like. This is not a great match. I almost think throwing in old matches that are like the greatest matches ever is a waste of time because it's just, I think it's more fun to just go, let's have a look, right? See what it looks like, see what everyone thinks of it. I like this match. You guys may not. I'm intrigued to see how it turns out. Kaden Lee, you do not strike me as an expert of 1993 WCW, so I'm fascinated. What did you make of Davey Boy and Big Van Vader here?
So I purposefully watched this first because I knew I was not going to like it. And that was probably I think that was definitely the right decision. If I watched this later in my watch, I would have been, leave me alone. I would have been very upset. This is, look, I thought this was fine. I gave this a 6 on Cage Match. It was like an enjoyable match.
Yeah.
It's just it's just not my style of wrestling. But even though it's not my style, I was still able to enjoy it. I do like Davey Boy. Vader's cool. Like, Vader fucking rules. But I am actually I do quite like Davey Boy. So it was nice to watch this. That was I don't have super strong feelings either way. I had a good time. I had I was able to enjoy what happened while also knowing that it's just not what I like in wrestling.
Yeah. Interesting.
Nick's lost, dude. Shut up. Come on.
Oh, well, low blow.
Dude.
This is safe space, bro. Come on.
He posted a paragraph on Twitter just being like, it's fucking over, dude. Just grieving. I feel very bad.
It was a rough close to the game. Yeah. Rough close.
Don't worry about it, bro. Stay strong, you. The White Six are back. All right. Novi, you're an expert on 1993 WCW. Do you like this match?
I do like this match. A good bit. Definitely more than Kaden. Just the dynamic out here, it popped me huge. Vader he's an unstoppable wall until Davey Boy picks him up on his shoulders and drops to the mat, brother. That's good shit. The crowd is going crazy for it. Harley Race is at ringside.
Yeah.
And the added context of our All Japan Retro TV and seeing him actually work was very fun. It added to this post watching it. Yeah, it was just a fun match. It ends on DQ, and I immediately thought JHP. This is what it's all about.
I mean, I think that I gotta be honest. I think even I'd have said, "Boys, this can't have a finish."
I probably, It was pretty short.
You're not wrong.
Too,
yeah. I just WCW took liberties with that shit. Pay-per-view main event. I think Davey Boy could have been pinned, to be honest, but
probably. And the one thing too, walking away, the match closes on a Sting run out. That beautiful gear. The people are just
people blow, dude.
They go crazy. It's awesome.
What's notable about that is, to be honest, the crowd is very up and down for the match.
Mm-hmm.
So when Sting comes out, there's no down. It's just
they
fucking raw.
love Sting, dude.
Yeah. There's a lot of good here. I think there's some kind of bloat too, to be fair. In more ways than one.
Respect,
Buster,
please.
You love Big Van Vader, so I'm gonna actually talk. I'm gonna just talk about this for a little bit, and I'll go to you. I do love that how great is the way Vader puts over Bulldog not shifting on the lockup.
Yeah.
See, this is an actual, it used to be better, because this match is not better than a lot of the stuff we talk about. I'm not saying it's a classic, but this is an actual thing that guys should watch. If this happened today, the big man would be doing this shit, and Vader just kind of goes, that was different. He just kind of, it's enough for the audience to know, he's fucking shook right now.
It's
but
awesome.
He doesn't do a big wide eye sell, right? He just kind of goes.
It's awesome because he goes to the corner and he grabs his straps. He goes,
Yeah,
Fighting's up.
yeah, yeah. And he makes like a slight adjustment, and the big spot is when he does the big club, the running tackle, and Bulldog just stands there. That is maybe the highlight of the match in some
that's
ways.
awesome.
And Vader retreats the corner and then launches those familiar clubbing blows to take control. Before I go any further, Buster, I'm intrigued. Did you like this match? Have you seen this before?
Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah. Okay. What did you make of it on this latest watch, mate?
I love the start of the match. You went through it, but like Davey just showing him that he's not a fucking pussy. He's not like the rest of these guys. That's sadly kind of negated by the fact that the rest of the match is like Davey just getting destroyed, which like kind of popped me. Vader's bump over the guardrail is unbelievable. He like kicks a grandma, I think, like on his way down. It's so sick. Yeah, I mean, I love Vader. I'm always gonna love Vader. It's very comfortable for me. The part where Vader goes to pick up a chair and it's Larry Zbyszko's chair and he goes, "Well, I'll move."
Yeah, Larry's funny, bro. I don't care what anyone
dude.
says.
I'm sorry.
He's funny.
Yeah. The chair shot is fucking insane.
Yeah.
The DQ finish, it's flat. Obviously, I don't love this match, but it's comfortable, man. It's Vader walking around beating dude's ass, going "Ada" when he punches him. You know, it's pretty sick.
I love Joe that you brought up that point too, where Davey's just not phased.
Yeah, bro.
He goes, "That's awesome." I was popping so huge seeing that.
And he stands up whenever Vader does like the big fucking clubbing blow thing, and he looks at the crowd and he goes, "Who's the man?" Which is Vader. Yeah. It's fucking beast. He steals his taunt, bro.
The funniest Vader sound in this match, however, is when he does the splash and he nearly kills Bulldog.
He goes, "Oh yeah, oh shit."
Oh shit! Yeah, and Bulldog's just like seeing if he's still got his eyeballs in his head, you know. This match is like, for good and bad, this is so Vader. This match, like, because Evu's right in the chat, like, Vader matches have a very particular rhythm to them, and this match absolutely, where it's kind of disjointed. The issue with this match that Buster completely nailed is, it's a match that is attempting to convince you that this is something different. And Leon, at some point, after about 90 seconds, just goes, "What if we just do the exact match I do with everyone else, but you're British?" Because the whole point of the match is like, this guy's he ain't getting shifted. And then Vader just beats the fuck out of him. Like, it kind of takes you. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some exceptions to that. Like, the Omni crowd loves it when Bulldog hits the big power offense. Like, and there are moments where he catches Vader but a lot of this match is Davey fighting from underneath. And just to be frank, and I love Davey. Like, I think I'm a high man on him in terms of like nerd, circles like this. I've become a big fan in recent years. But like, he's just not going to be good at that, is he? Like, that's just not going to be something and especially in Omni crowd, like they don't care about him enough to be going, "Please get up, Davey, please, please." This is an example of like when we did the famed Joe Vader shootout on one of those bracket shows. See, like, this is something where I would say Joe's versatility would be like very useful, But that's fucking Vader, isn't it? I mean, you can't. Yep. It's just very difficult with Vader to kind of see that as a negative, because then at some point he goes, "Yeah, why don't we do a fucking electric chair counter?" And he's like, all 400 pounds and we're on Bulldog's shoulders. Like, he just does weird shit, doesn't he? And like, he takes the big slam. He takes some crazy stuff. It's not like he's being selfish in terms of what he will and won't take. It's just he has his way of doing things.
That's all you kind of got to respect it too, because fucking look at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How else is he supposed to work, really?
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, he's just general. His baseline is very fun to watch, just based on the way he whacks blokes and sort of the way he talks shit while doing it. It does pump me, like the things he picks up as he goes along. So he does this. He literally does Sting's spot in this match. Sting always does the spot where he follows a guy to the floor and then he does the splash on the barricade and the guy moves and he just bumps. Vader does that spot as a heel here. I'm like, I think he's just like, oh, let's just do the spots, but Steve does. Fuck it, let me do that. Sure, man. I guess. I mean, you're like 400 pounds. Maybe you don't want to like throw yourself in the barricade, but if you want,
he fucking goes for it too.
And in Control, there's not really like you know, he's like a super heavyweight highlight reel. Like he does the moonsault and the it's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. I tell this story whenever I can, and I'll find the link at some point. Whenever I watch Vader wrestle, the only thing that comes to mind is the fact that in 2016, the Performance Center coaches told Alexa Bliss to study Big Van Vader. And like every time I watch Vader wrestle, for 90% of it, I'm immersed in the world of Big Van Vader. And then for like that 10%, I kind of just go, I wonder if she watched the Davey match, you know? Like what does she think of it? It always, every time I just, the idea of it is so funny to me. So, yeah, nonetheless, I don't know if she liked this match or not. I like this match. This is a healthy 3 1/4 for me, where it's like, it has flaws, but I could watch this happily, like a couple times, you know, a couple times a month and be better for it. So
I'd go 3.5 just because the all shit.
Right. Well, good point. Good point. But yeah, I thought it was fun to do that because it added some range to Sham Variety Show, but also I think sometimes people like sometimes the beauty of going back in time is just seeing a match, just a match, you know.
Mhm.
The Vader has way better matches than this, Bulldog has better matches than this. This is just a match they had on pay-per-view, and like take it for what it is. The crowd isn't great necessarily. This is not a healthy time for WCW. It's a good match with some real highlights. So that closes it out for us here on the very first actual wrestling talk edition of the Late Night Grin. And next week, we must announce we are headed back to the land of the bracket. Let me see if I can find this for because I'll put it on the screen. Because it is time for the graduation gift 2.
God bless.
I feel like we should call the episode like Bracket Buster, right? Because it's a play on words, right?
True.
Good work.
Very good. Very, very cutting edge stuff as always. I can't
Innovators over at the Late Night Grin.
I can't find the bracket. If you guys say Buster, so we can just throw it on the screen.
The bracket is tremendous, by the way, guys.
Oh, it's great, dude. Yeah. We're going to do that next Friday. I'm going to try and get Manuel and Oracle on that show. And hopefully Novi and Kaden can make it. Do we know yet if you guys can make it?
I'm good.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay, so the lineup's probably going to be the free non-Buster division, Grin, as you're seeing right now, and then Manny and Lord Oracle. It's a pretty crazy. Here it is. All I need to see is New Jack up there, and I'm like, all right, let's go. You know, I mean, this is a crazy group of grapplers. Look at this, dude.
I'm looking at like Shibata and Vader. That's going to be extensive. I feel like that debate.
Yeah.
Hangman Sammy, that'll be a debate for sure.
Matt Morgan and Mayu is a rough one.
Onita and the Undertaker, incredible.
Oh, Ricky and Samoa Joe too. Oh boy,
yeah, that's a good one. Dave Batista, Hiroki Goto may bring something out of Oracle that we're scared of. Imagine how good Cash Wheeler and Sabu would be. Oh shit! Yeah. So this is going to be next Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, AJ Styles and Terry Funk. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
The rounds of this are insane. Like Joe, you had a lot of you had JHP, so some of those like matchups were a little bit one-sided. This is not at all. These are all.
What are you talking about, bro? You referencing Kurt Hawkins and AJ Styles with that shit? What are you talking about?
I mean, I did one of those. You know.
I mean, Mercedes is. Mercedes Monet.
Sammy Bell.
Well, okay, never mind. I did 2 of them. Sorry.
Wait,
I forgot about Mercedes Monet.
He's better than Hangman.
Oh, sorry. I get what you're talking about. All right, this is actually gonna be crazy, dude.
Yeah. I forgot. I put Mercedes Monet and Buzz Sawyer.
I'm gonna try to watch some of these guys too that I maybe haven't seen before. I've seen a lot of these wrestlers, but I'm gonna try to seek out at least a match from people I don't know, just so I'm study the tapes. You know.
All right, so that'll be next Friday, folks. Very excited about that.
You should send
then
me on Twitter.
I'll DM it to you.
I think the week after that, let me make sure my scheduling here. No, never mind, I'm wrong. So I just know the next month we're doing One Night Stand. That's all that matters.
Yes,
I think on the 20th of June we're doing a Stardom thing, right?
Yes, it is Stardom, the conversion. There's a big selling point on that show, right, Buster? I can't remember what it was, but there's
Siri, or it's
Siri and
Siri, yeah.
Yeah, for the IWGP belt. So
Sweet.
big money.
Yeah, so we've got a lot coming up. we'll obviously keep you guys, up to date and such, and all that good business. And Sunday, LNG Gold, Grin Circle tier members will be joining us for the Magnificent Sevens AEW Double or Nothing Grin Along. We'll go have our own Anarchy in the Arena affair there. And next week we shall have Grin Grappler Dwayne The Rock Johnson, as well as hopefully School of Wrestling, maybe. Also, if you're still on the fence but in a member, earlier today Buster and I did a 90-minute show about will wrestlers get action figures in 20 years, which was really audio. We had a great time, dude. We got in the weeds. We took in a tire. We just had a wonderful time.
It's tremendous. There was extensive debate over the primetime players.
There was a lot of funny conversations about Build-A-Figures.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The bunny.
Build-A-Figure. They got serious run, Build-A-Figure. That phrase got serious run.
Someone might have come with a wheel on one of their Build-A-Figures at some point.
Yeah.
I will say, I do have an official announcement. I wanted to investigate further the story I told about Dango at Creator Pro. Maxwell Jacob Friedman had already left by that point, and I was devastated by this.
Oh, damn.
I felt like, oh my God, we have, because some people, they will ask Max, like, what was it like to wrestle Bryan Danielson? I don't care, bro. I said, were you there when Dango was drunk at Cap? Can you tell me, please? He was not there. Very sad. Very, very sad. But nonetheless, let's do some plugs and get out of here, boys. I think I've done just about all of mine. Buster, I know the main thing for you is just June 1st, right? Grabscast.
June 1st, Grabscast. Hell yeah.
Yep, that will be live and free, LNG. So if you're not a member, you will see that on June 1st. Khalid, Buster, Novi, and myself. Should be a great time. Kaden, are you on that show?
No.
If you want to be, you can be.
What day is that?
June 1st.
What day of the week is that?
It's Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Not next, or
maybe.
Yeah, we'll
okay. Caden really putting over the new product there as an exciting adventure.
Maybe if I have
Caden
time.
goes, when the fuck is this thing, man? Jesus, like, put it over, dude. No, but there's not a video in the morning, right? Because you did the...
There's not, but there are two recent ones out on the channel that I implore you to check out. One on the AEW mid-card titles. I really like that video. It seems that people do as well. So check that one out. And then we have Double or Nothing predictions. That's on this channel, but I have my own on my own channel, where things get more of my own perspective rather than the group. But both are good.
Just watch the one on here so I can get paid.
Yeah, watch this one.
It doesn't change the viewership, the money payout on that. Man.
The formula doesn't impact these things. No. There's some things you can figure out about the formula, but
once it's done, it's done. I don't pay you guys on the house in that regard. It's just a sort of lump fee situation.
Thank God.
For real, right? Imagine that. That'd be a fucking brutal situation. Kaden Lee, what do you want to plug?
Go check out my Letterboxd review on Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Letterboxd plug, man.
Look at his Letterboxd.
Look,
new log, Kaden.
No,
Lee.
I genuinely don't have anything to plug, so I'm gonna give y'all. I'm actually gonna tell y'all what my exact review was because I think it's funny.
So I assume it was like a bit. It wasn't like a
no. So like I gave it 5 stars. It probably I think it's like realistically I would have given it a 4.5.
Dave over here,
But I give it. Look, man, I gotta look.
What do you mean?
Realistically, I would give it a 4.5. It was insane.
It was actually. To Joe, it was actually a 4.5, but I have agendas to push. And my review was I refuse to fall for anti-Final Reckoning propaganda.
Okay, wonderful. But it wasn't a 4.5 because you gave it a 5. Like it isn't.
It is okay, like it's a 5. Yeah,
it's a 5. Like once you get a 5, it's a 5. That's it.
It's a 5.
I thought we was gonna say like realistically it's like a 3.5, but I loved it. Realistically, it's a 4.5. You must just fucking stick to your guns on that, Fuck it. All right.
No, it fucking rolls.
Good for you, Kaden. I'm sure it's fun. I mean, those films are always a hoot, right? So,
give me a second.
Oh my God, is Buster gonna come up with a prop of something? That seems scary.
Yeah, it was. Jesus,
back with a gun.
This is like the end of the show. Yeah, and
he would come back. What do you think it's gonna be?
So I'm like heavily considering moving my CRT so that I can watch this while we're doing the The fucking one night stand going along. Is that some? Do y'all think that's worth it?
No,
Yes.
because
No.
you're not gonna have. It won't have Enter the Sandman, honey. Enter the
Huh?
Sandman. So
Oh,
you won't have
yeah.
Enter the Sandman when the Sandman.
Fucking hate this man. Fucking loser.
Yeah, but still a cool thing to own, though.
No.
You've ruined it.
Well, no, it's got my costume Masato Tanaka. Never mind, it's pretty cool.
Dude, that pay-per-view is incredible, man. It's so great. I can't wait. To
You ever
watch
seen
it.
that match, Novi?
I think we watched it together, me and you.
Did we?
Yeah, it was a test there you just gave me, but we watched it together for sure.
You ever seen that match,
Definitely
Caden?
No.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy because that's like one of those starter pack
Listen,
matches,
bro.
isn't it?
He was
That's
too
awesome.
busy watching fucking.
Mission Impossible.
No, I was gonna say like
Andor.
no. Who's like some? Who's some late 2010 shitter? Drew
Um,
Gulak.
Come on, you don't have to bring up the
That was-
what was it? The anti-flying defense
That
system.
was the worst kind of podcast comment because that was problematic in both directions. Firstly, Drew Gulak. Secondly, Drew Gulak was a good wrestler. What are we doing here? You know, fuck.
Oh, dude, you got double heat with Ibu tonight.
You should have
For
said like.
What you said about WCW and what you said about that match.
I was trying to think of the guy that cried whenever he got released, but then he got signed, and then he got released again.
Jake Maverick.
There you go.
Oh dear, had a good match with EC3 once. All right,
Caden's seen it.
folks. Yeah, Caden's. I
No,
don't
I
think he's seen
haven't.
that. He's not studied the run. We'll see you on Sunday, folks. Have a great weekend. We hope, if you haven't already, please like the video. Tell us in the chat what you want to see. The comment, whatever it's called. Comment if you like this. Comment if you'd like to see us cover individual things or specific matches or promotions. We're very open to ideas. We have many. We do this every week, so we have many weeks to fill.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I just looked at the schedule. We have countless weeks to fill. We have very few shows penciled.
Every
in.
one of them. 52, actually.
Yeah, we have like one night stand and brackets. The bracket buster,
Jesus, taglines.
and we're in big trouble. Please help. We're in danger.
Let's
Okay.
do this live. What are we doing? Fuck it.
Huh?
Let's do this live. Let's figure out next month. What are we doing?
So we got. Actually, no. To be fair, we're actually in a good spot, aren't we? Really, because we got Stardom. Is there not something else happening on the 20th that I'm forgetting?
No,
Yeah, no, there is because we
said that. I didn't
we
really know.
thought about this. What were we doing?
Is it a TNA show?
Oh, anniversary show.
Yeah.
Was it? It's not No Way Out. I think it's Armageddon or one of the two.
No, it was on the Double or
it's-
Nothing thing that we did. Where there was
It's a
some
WWF show. WWF show. I know this to be true.
Also, there was like a grin along that we could do that was like 8
That's the one.
hours.
Yeah,
But-
you're right. Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Oh, 'cause
Yeah.
we were gonna
like-
do Vengeance into Stardom. That was our plan.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I
we were
feel
gonna
as though
fill
you're
the
wrong.
time. We were gonna do
Wait,
Vengeance
what?
that night because that's the anniversary of Vengeance. Then we're gonna run into Stardom.
No, that is not what. No, that's
There's
not.
I
another
it.
swear
live
that's
show.
what we were
There's
doing.
There's another live.
There's a
show.
live. There's a live wrestling show that night.
And I keep fucking forgetting.
Oh,
Yes.
it's the CMLL. CMLL.
Yes.
Oh, you're
Fuck.
so right.
God, Novi. Oh,
You guys are lagging, like for me, because I'm obviously lagging. It's very scary.
Joe.
it
The
feels
reason
like
I
I'm
was
having
saying
like
it is
this.
there is
Yeah.
a CMLL show
Okay.
the same day before Stardom.
Oh, you want to double up?
I was gonna
Yeah,
say we could do that
right.
and then find something to do between the gap between CMLL and Stardom.
I'm not against it. It's a good idea. The Vengeance show is the week after that, for anyone wondering.
Okay,
I got
yeah.
confused. That's on me. I mean, we're all really
Um,
confused, but I definitely.
Because there's
very
a show,
passionate
there's a
about my
match on that
confusion.
show that I'm forgetting what it was.
There's a couple
Uh,
sick matches on that show.
I think isn't Volador wrestling Bandito or some shit, or he wasn't Ricochet maybe.
Hmm
Yeah, I don't
Something
know.
like that.
That was really scary when you guys were. It was horrifying, honestly, because like you were talking about wrestling and stuff, and it was
Sorry.
gross. July 4th, penciled in. We haven't cleared this with Bob. He may actually have plans. On my list here, it says Bob's Barbecue is what we're doing.
Yeah,
Oh, we
Which
could
is-
we could cook this
We
idea.
we talked
late
about
night.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but
Nor do I. Stay tuned. The one show we need help. June 6th.
Joe, do we
let's
just
see what happened June
Joe,
6th in
if we
history.
need to pull the lever, June 7th is Money in the Bank.
No,
No,
Not happening.
I will not. I will not do
Oh.
it.
I won't be there.
I won't back
Fuck
down.
I'm so cooked.
Well,
I
what
do
if we
this all the fucking time. I
We
looked
could
up.
also just make the flagship the Money in the Bank Grin along.
We
No.
can't, Kaden.
We're not
Come on,
doing-
stand
It's on a
I-
Saturday.
I legitimately, I was looking up, trying to find something that happened, like a show that happened on June 6th in wrestling history. I went to Google, just looked up June 6th history. I'm fucking cooked. Shit gave me D-Day.
The lead into Bob's Barbecue.
True.
We could watch it. We can do a Grin along to a D-Day documentary.
We'll figure this out. I need to. When you go to the lab, I need to figure this out. I'll
Wrestling
figure it out.
Lab, J Lethal School.
No.
Tell
I'll
us.
be. I'm gonna come up with something. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
Plus, you're very bright.
I'm worrying, bro. Huh?
Your screen was you're very illuminated.
But we have one show. We have one show on about the next 5 weeks. We're gonna be fine. But if anyone has suggestions, do comment them. Do comment them below.
I'm sure this looks ridiculous, but I'm trying to go through WWF history and see if there's anything significant that happened on June 6th.
But then we'd have to do another Grin along though.
Who cares, bro? We're trying to fill the fucking.
Bro, we can't. We can't do it, man. We're
We
too
need-
heavy.
we need to be
We're Grin along
creative.
heavy. Yeah, we're Grin along heavy right now, dude.
You figured this out today, so now you're stuck
Look
on
at
it.
this, guys. WWE Raw House Show Grin Along in Dublin, Ireland. Let's look at this. John Cena versus Great Khali, WWE Heavyweight Title. Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy. Okay. Carlito and Ric Flair. That's pretty good. Candice Michelle and Mickey James versus Melina and Victoria. Okay. Santino Marella. Gibson! Santino Marella and Johnny Nitro for the Intercontinental title. Lance Cade, rest in peace, and Trevor Murdoch versus Crime Time.
Oh,
Chris Masters and Eugene. Well, Chuck Palumbo and Kenny Dykstra.
this show's awful. This is
Yeah,
an
pretty
awful.
bad. Let's not do that. Let's find something else to do.
Okay, so June. I looked at wrestling birthdays. June 6th is actually Novi's favorite wrestler's birthday, Jackson Riker. Could do a
Enough.
Jackson
Please
Riker
don't say
Grin
that
along.
The show will end on the 7th. We could do a Foley show, maybe. I just don't. I need to really think about what I'm doing here, right? Just
You can't do Grin along. Not
no,
allowed.
we're not doing a fucking Grin along, bro. We're doing 2 retro Grin alongs in June. That's
Could we-
disgusting.
Joe, could we do my wrestling things draft?
Do you ever have to be about politics for you, bro? Fuck, we're trying to put together a wrestling schedule here, man. Jesus.
Bro said my wrestling things draft. Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
I know who you voted for, dude. What do you want from me? I
He's
just
already
want
in
to
the
run the
seat,
company like a
dude.
business, you know? Like, what does he want from me, dude?
Maybe that could
Fuck.
be the debut of me and Novi's TEW show.
What?
The flagship.
The flagship.
Someone sent me the mod for that. That's fucking. They look really cool. We have to
Can
figure
you
that
send me
out.
$35 so I can buy it?
Well, I mean, I sent you considerably more than $35. It's just a matter of
Oh.
sent him $2 bills yesterday. What does he want from me? Grin must have made more money yesterday from Late Night Grin than I legitimately made at any point during my entire wrestling media output until I made the Late Night Grin.
I'll buy it. Whatever.
Okay.
We could do women's wrestling.
I'm gonna be real, bro.
That's true.
We might do fucking
I mean, we can't. Like, we can't do women's wrestling, but like we can do the
No.
draft.
Physically, no.
we can't really do wrestling at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, my knees are fucked already. For
If
potty.
Evolution's happening, July 11th is going to be a women's wrestling draft.
Mystery.
Okay. Yeah.
Huh?
Evolution. It's a mystery.
Oh,
Evolution is a
good, very
mystery.
good. Very good.
Good song.
Next week we do like a you grin along. We just sit here quietly while Honky Tonk Man plays.
I honestly,
He goes, I'm
Shoot
not fucking
interview.
putting over Randy Orton. And we all
shoot
pop.
interview Grin Along would be fucking awesome.
It's definitely a good paywall thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna say we can do a 666. I feel like, you know.
Hmm.
Dude.
What's the other 6?
There's not one, but you're close, aren't you?
Let's think about it.
We just pretend.
Kane Grin along.
Come on, back to politics again.
This guy always leans one way, Kaden Lee. I
Yeah.
fucking notice these things.
We're an apolitical platform, Novi. How many times do we have to tell him?
Jesse Ventura Grin along.
You have 6 grinners.
To pieces.
What if we?
We just do a seance.
Can we kill Bob again?
No.
No.
We just did the match reviews. We can't do any more of them.
No.
We need to
So
wait.
what would have happened the week over that week? I guess that's like.
Let me look. Looking
You
at
asked the
AEW,
grinners.
AEW events. Okay, Fighter Fest is June 4th.
No.
No.
Maybe that's when they'll release the fucking Dean show, and then we can watch that. Who knows?
Oh.
It's
Somebody's
Grin
gonna
Along
come
though.
up.
It's Grin Along though.
Yeah, but it's modern. Grin Along's different. It's live.
But it's
In
not.
fact, speaking of such, well, you know what I mean, man. Speaking of such, is anything happening on June 6th?
The fucking grin, dude.
Oh, we'll see about it.
Oh, no.
TNA against All Odds 2025 live from Arizona.
Come on.
I love you, Dixie Carter. I love you.
Dude, it's at Mullet Arena.
Oh,
Let's go.
oh, I feel like I could cry. We're gonna do a Friday night graps. You fucking right we are. We're gonna have SmackDown on. Oh, what a great night. What a great night it's been. Brilliant. All right, there you go. We did it, boys. Against All Odds. Let's fucking go, baby. The last stop before Slammiversary.
Hey, against all odds, we figured it out too. It makes sense.
So true. God, I hope it's really shitty too.
It's gonna be terrible, Joe.
Yeah. But we can have SmackDown or like, what if we get like a funny, like, imagine they do Alexa and Giulia.
Oh,
We can double dip. Oh, man. Well done, everyone.
Oh, dude, the same day Hood Slam Fearless Kid Bandit versus Dark Sheik. Lock
Oh,
in.
come on.
what's that new Kishin Allen Angels? You gonna watch one of them? Good load
That's
it
like
up.
that's just insulting, really, huh? Bald guy doing Keishan. Fuck off.
So you're in thought.
I just like wrestling, man. Just looking at the wrestling shows. GCW Cage of Survival.
Oh.
Kaden solo show.
You see Brett Lauderdale did like a multi-tweet thread about what Mania not being in New Orleans means now.
No.
No.
I did see this.
I do know they're gonna go broke trying to pay for this though.
Tournament of Survival X, John Wayne Murdoch versus Mr. Danger. All right.
Dude,
This is vintage Graps podcast. I used to do this for at the end of every podcast we did. I would read GCW's upcoming shows because they were so dog shit.
great use of time.
And we're bringing it to the grin.
Guys, this is where you guys are really fortunate to be working with such a fearless leader, because imagine we burnt the TNA card tonight and did Under Siege.
So true.
We would be fucked, dude. But instead, we made the people wait. Look at the chat. Look how excited they're about TNA. Do you see all the chats, Matt?
Yeah.
Everyone just put in like, oh my God, I was hoping we would do TNA. I missed TNA this time around. Where was TNA tonight? We made them wait. Psychology. The people, I know what they want. It's a matter of when I give it to them, you know?
Right.
We're bringing it back to you, folks. TNA is coming back to the flagship June 6th against all odds. Who knows who's going to be there? I think we're going to see Brian Myers. I think we're going to see the JDC.
If there's a god, we will.
We're going to see Nicholas Nemeth, Jeffrey Hardy, Masha Slamovich.
Not
Against
Ace
all
Austin. He's gone.
Rosemary.
Oh, and what happens when Tessa Blanchard comes out? We look at SmackDown. What's Nick Aldis got to offer? Maybe we get a Jacob Fatu match.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's
we
not
get
problematic.
and here's the other part. Here's the other part. Right. The show will be on at 8 because it's going to be a Friday night grabs. Ends at 4. Ends at 1. 11. So for me, that means it ends at 4. Means I can go to sleep, wake up around 9, 10, still have breakfast, have a full Saturday ahead of me.
What a time to be alive.
Making a great pitch here, guys.
Dude, we're going to new star. There's got to be some new stars in TNA coming soon, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Atlanta
not, right?
Black.
Dude, all we do in TNA is make new stars.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, if you have any good ideas for June 6th, then just going to be completely frank with you folks. Front runner currently is the TNA. For some reason, doing another show in 2 weeks. So, yeah, that's what we're going to probably do. But like, if you have literally any single idea of value, it could win the war in that regard. So, comment them below. I'm glad we did this together as a family. Seems like everyone's really excited about the Against All Odds thing. So, something to look forward to.
I wish I could
guys.
see that what was actually on the show, but these fuckers don't do long-term storytelling. So, fucking delirious in there talking about, Ring of Honor or whatever the fuck, PWG.
Wonder if they set anything up to good
That's
call.
what you're going to see, dude.
Updated ticket sales for Against All Odds. Let's see how the house is.
Oh, it's really bad.
The wrestling. Oh dear.
What's it looking like, Joe? Give us the report.
Oh,
It's really bad.
What's WrestleTix say?
It's really bad.
I'm
You
going
can
to
just
show
say
you the
it.
map. I'm going to show you the map.
Oh, okay.
The map kind of speaks volumes in its own way. Hang on, let me clear some space here.
Has more power than words, maybe.
Is Muhammad Hassan really worth a dark side?
It's probably about like his career being ruined. Right? What is this?
9/11 maybe.
What are we doing this? What the fuck? Who put that in there? Dude?
Might have been me. I think I was showing the guys at some point.
Did a script to break in here or some shit?
Oh.
She has an
Light-
AEW.
Lighthouse. Don't when they get the matches announced there, we'll be fucking
We should go to that.
agreed. I'll fly out for Against All Odds.
Well, I'll bring sweaters and blankets.
Yeah.
I assume someday I probably will go to a TNA show.
Oh, fucking
and-
right you will. Yeah.
It's gonna be one of the worst nights of my fucking life. I'm being honest.
Dude, if they come to Charlotte, yeah.
Why would they fucking come to Charlotte? Sorry.
Come on, man.
I forgot Charlotte was a wrestler. It's not really.
Yeah.
There actually will be the 30-day releases will be up by then, right?
Good fucking point.
By Against All Odds?
Yeah, wasn't it? When
No, I
did they do
think
the
it's-
cut?
Oh, the 30-day releases. Yeah, they would be done.
Yeah. Caden Lee live reaction to Cora Jade showing up.
Elena Black, bro, please.
Live.
My bad, bro.
Don't use. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. It was,
Yeah, that,
it was wrong.
Mullet Arena is Arizona State University, so they are going to paper that like crazy to college kids.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, no, they're fucking not.
This is
Wrestling
on
companies
fire.
always do that.
This is the problem with this business. You think you know it all, you know. TNA is a successful wrestling promotion. They have been for 23 years. And how many times, Novi, have you and I sat in our local establishment and heard people like Kaden say, they're going out of business. WWE buying TNA. They're buying TNA. They're going out of business.
Dude,
How many
I
times
knew
you guys
this.
said it with a nice fucking Swift? Yeah, let's go for it.
me and you, right? We're
Yeah.
sitting there
I like
eating our breadsticks at the Olive Garden, unlimited. They're never gonna end.
Olive Garden fucking sucks, bro.
But it was nice. We had it there, and Caden Lee's across the other table was talking to JJ, and they're saying, "I don't know about this TNA thing. I'm not sure if it's gonna work." And
See, here's where you're.
me and Joe stand up. We point.
IHOP.
Go
That
fuck
IHOP is
yourself.
Like Mistico.
IHOP,
Yeah.
not the Olive Garden. We're at the IHOP. Come on.
We're not the fucking IHOP.
Yes,
No
we're at the
seriousness.
IHOP. Me
like,
and JJ are at the
Bro, I went
IHOP.
Waffle House. Oh, I'm gonna take my mom.
Oh,
Holy
that's
fuck.
good stuff.
I hope they book a card that's like very grin friendly, you know.
Yeah. The JJ.
I don't
What,
wanna
what would
make-
you what given their roster, what is a Grin friendly card?
Like the actual good, like Leon Slater in a real match would be good.
Against who?
A singles match, ideally.
Dango. Walk in.
Leon Slater against
What's the roster looking like? These
Jeff
days?
Hardy.
I don't know, man. It's a big question for this point in the night.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Who's the short bright fella? KC
Huh?
Navarro.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The one that's from Miami but actually from New Jersey.
Dude. He can work Ali.
oh my God, Trick Williams is going to be the world
Great.
champion.
Oh, you said Ollie. Sorry.
Slater and Ali.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We'll do Maclin and JDC.
Three.
The Nemeth
Would
Bros
it-
are in tag action because
Who's,
they have the tag belts.
Trick
Yeah.
Williams versus Joe Hendry rematch.
All right, that was unnecessary. Like,
Yeah. No.
Nah, for real though. Just tell us we're gonna watch it on June 6th. If you don't come with anything good though, this is what you're in for, right? Don't blame us.
There's 45 people watching this, dude. Fucking
We give you 2 weeks notice on this thing. It's on you now. Tried our best.
We're wiping our
All right.
hands.
We did all our plugs already, so we're gonna go now. Does everyone have anything message to say to the people?
We're really close to 3 hours.
Oh, fine. All right. Just
Yeah, that's true.
Just
We can say we did 3 hours of actual wrestling talk in 2025. Lock in.
Yeah.
I mean, we absolutely can't say that, but I respect it. I
Yes, we
respect life.
can.
this is technically actual wrestling talk.
It
We are,
is.
we are talking
Yeah.
about the modern wrestling.
Yeah.
We're talking about TNA's roster.
Yeah. Mustafa Ali and stuff.
Just saying. Let's look at their roster really quick. Hold on. Let's TNA roster. Sorry, wrestlers is what it's listed as here.
This is professional wrestling, bitch.
Jesus, that scared the fuck out of me.
I saw in the chat and I knew which way it was going.
Oh God. Give me a second.
What's wrong? What's happening?
I'm pulling this up real quick.
What just happened?
Hold on.
Big two.
That popped me. Okay. God, Eddie Edwards.
He beat Cody Deaner tonight.
Who?
Cody Deaner. Eddie Edwards beat him.
Who's that?
He's a Canadian wrestler, and if he lost, he had to leave TNA forever, and he lost, and the system came out. They were like, "You're a fucking loser," and he just had to sit there. It was pretty awesome.
MLP forever.
Okay, dude. Yeah, I'm not seeing much on this roster that really gets me going.
So
There's a guy here named the Personal Concierge. That's your name? Good gimmick,
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah, with Ash by Elegance, I think.
thank you, Caden, for paying attention.
Yeah.
Bus just said, "Good gimmick, idiot."
It's kind of the gimmick.
You'll never get over with that, pal.
Maybe we should ask Tony to put Collision on Friday, June 5th, 6th.
Avoid the playoffs.
For real, dude. Yeah, you should actually smash the like button, guys. I mean, this is, we're really trying hard here.
Listen, we got however many seconds. I'm not good at math. We're almost there is the point.
Yeah, we're really close. Final warning, though. Seriously, come up with some good ideas, chat, because
Please.
we're in big trouble. We hope you enjoyed this. We certainly did at one point enjoy it. On behalf of the great Power Uti Brainbuster. Oh, Jesus wept.
Come on.
Come on.
Sorry, I just saw the pose. It was very dynamic. I felt like it was worth the.
Kaden, can we get a read of this, please? Hopefully with some timely lag along the way.
Smashing them, cracking them, body count tall. We
There it is.
Say it out loud. We fax them.
I can't. I'll tell you, I'm going to just say it. I announced to the boys that if the Wyatt Six win a wrestling match over Fraxium, I believe I said that what did I say? How vulgar did I get with my phrasing?
You said.
I think you said you send me a lot of money.
No, you said that you would come.
Twice. You said it twice, actually.
You
I
emphasized
said
it more the
Yeah.
second time.
Why?
You
Why
said
did I
it-
do
You
that?
said you would come, and then you said if Fraxium gets pinned by the Wyatt Six and like WWE's audience is losing their mind, I think I'm gonna fucking come. Is what you said. You
Here
said
you go.
fucking come.
He goes like, "Oh, fucking come."
Boy,